playoff competition. He's 0-2 at a 5.41 goals against average, but it was not Jeff Hackett's loss last game. It was a team loss. He didn't get a lot of support. Patrick Roy, 137 games he's played in. He has 87 victories at 2.3 goals against average lifetime and 9 career shutouts. And he has over 200 minutes of shutout playoff hockey in a row, dating back to Game 3 in last year's Stanley Cup Finals against the Florida Panthers.
The officials tonight led by referee Paul Dvorsky. The linesmen are Gord Brossiker and Dan McCourt. And one of the supervisor of officials in the NHL, Brian Lewis, is also on hand at this game. Would you expect there to be quick whistles, or the official trying to assert himself early in this game if need be?
I would think he will set a tone early. He will not allow any nonsense, and hopefully the Blackhawks will keep their sticks on the ice and their elbows down and keep their composure as well.
Murray Craven, Sergei Krivokrasov, and Tony Amonte open up for Chicago. The Forsberg line is out with Kaminsky and Deadmarsh for Colorado. And the draw is controlled by Peter Forsberg, who flipped it to center. And Amonte had it knocked away. It was captured by Krivo, his pass deflecting. And Adam Foote steps over the Hawk line to the deep slot, put it to the far side. Kaminsky pushed off the puck by Amonte. Then his pass doesn't connect. Sliding back into the Colorado zone. To the far side, the puck is cleared to center ice. Carter there, dumping it back. Along the far board, here's Shantz, but he's unable to keep it in as Kaminsky pushed it ahead. Backing it over the Hawk line, a shot that hit the leg of Steve Smith, who then did well to tie up the stick of Sakic. And Smith played it up the left side to Morrow. And the Hawks dump it into the Colorado zone. Bouncing puck, Waugh down to be careful with it. Now Shantz far corner. He had it knocked off his stick, but right to Daze, who fires! And that hits somebody in front. Rebound, a shot, and Morrow's drive missed the net with a backhander. Rebound over to the far side. Weinrich battling to hold it in, but it squirts loose to the Avalanche, and Miller, who cleared it to the center ice area. Now Keith Jones got bumped. And they battle forward to the near side. Then it's shot over to the far board where Lefebvre has it for the home team. Gave it to Aaron Miller, who bounced one into the Hog zone, and offside is the call, says Dan McCourt.
Well, the key obviously is to get off to a good start, not fall behind early against Colorado. They're obviously playing well, playing with a lot of confidence. The Hawks probably be a little fragile as far as their psyche is concerned. But a good rush, a good start. Daze's shot hit a leg. He went to Morrow. His backhand shot wide. And that's what Patrick Roy forces you to do, Patty. He forces you to try to be too perfect with your shots. He doesn't give you a lot of room. And we saw some good scoring chances squandered because of shots just missing the net.
Face-off in the neutral zone now is controlled by the Hawks and Gary Suter, who gave it to Brent Sutter, but he couldn't hold on to it at center ice. Clem bouncing one up the near board, taken by Suter to Probert. Bob Probert looking for Jim Cummins on right wing, and he bangs it in, but offside is the call.
Well, Cummins and Probert spent a lot of time in the penalty box the last game, and Brent Sutter at center, and I'm sure they'd like to make amends for that and play better, stay out of the box, and maybe get a goal or two, or at least put some pressure on Colorado, keep them in their end.
Got a wide-eye lens.
Sure, there'll be a few Colorado players with their heads up on this particular shift where they're on the ice.
In game one for Chicago, 22 shots on goal total. 22 penalties were called against the Hawks in that game, and you can't beat the defending champions when those numbers match one another. Here's a giveaway, Corbet, and a bouncing puck, though, and couldn't control it. And it's cleared in behind the Hawk goal. Sikora, in his first action of the series, leveled along the end boards by Lacroix, came to the near side, and Bob Probert able to get past a couple of checks and carry to center. Probert fires a long one. Waugh makes the save to Clem. John Clem up the right side for Corbet. He fires a long one wide of the Hawk net. Now Chelios. Bounce one out to center. James Black makes his first appearance of the series. Bounces one ahead. Miller broke it up for Colorado. And now the neutral zone, Aaron Miller. That is pass deflect, but it's picked up by Forsberg. Clearing it in behind the Hawk net. Chris Chelios has it there to Carney. His pass picked off. Forsberg fell, still tried to center, and Carney able to recover the feed and send it back the other way. Sylvain Lefebvre tied up on the near side, but managed to feed Deadmarsh. 21-year-old Adam Deadmarsh carries it over the Hawk line. Weaving, left it for Kaminsky to the backhand. Cuts to the net. Center one, open net. And it was shot wide. Oh, what a pass from Kaminsky, and Deadmarsh missed an open net.
Wow, what a breakdown there. Great play by Deadmarsh to Kaminsky.
Now foot in the Hawk zone to Forsberg in the corner. Carney got to him there, but Forsberg held on to it. Peter Forsberg finally checked by Craven, and Crevo came away with it, but fanned on a passing attempt. Forsberg back to the Hawk line to Keane. Walks right and shoots. He scores! Mike Keane, who scored the first goal of the game in the opener of the series, does likewise here in Game 2. It's 1-0 Avs.
Boy, this is almost a carbon copy of the first game. Remember Forsberg, an empty net. Hackett made a great save. Deadmarsh just earlier in the shift had a wide open empty net put in by Kaminsky. Forsberg tries to go around Chelios. The puck deflects to Keane. Keane goes in and under and through and into the net. That's one that should not have gone in. And you can ill afford to give up goals like that in Game 2 after getting hammered 6-0 in Game 1.
Took Colorado about 6 minutes to score their first goal in the opener. It takes them 3:53 here in Game 2. Now here's the draw. Cleared into the Hawk zone. Ricci bumped on the near side. Still battles his way in behind the goal. Ricci now with a wrap around it. Rolled off the end of his stick. And now picked up by the Hawks. Here comes Shantz. In over the Colorado line on the near side. He's checked along the boards. And it's cleared back to center ice. Now Morrow had it knocked off his stick. Keane over the Hawk line. Lets it go. And he shot it up high. Rebound. It just hopped over the stick of Yell. And it is then cleared to center ice. Picked up by Aaron Miller for Colorado. He pushed it to the Hawk line. Cummins there. Trying to feed Probert. Hopped away from him to Joe Sakic. Trying to feed Ozelich. He's knocked flying by Weinrich. Ozelich slow to get up, but now appears as if he'll be able to continue on as the Hawks dump it in. Keith Jones on left wing. Ahead for Sakic. He's got the line far side. Weaving to the slot. Slipped it in front. Ozelich shooting. He scored! Keane and Ozelich scored the first 2 goals in Game 1, and they've done it again here in Game 2.
Ozelich with a good hit by Weinrich in the neutral zone. Went down. Looked like there was going to be he was going to stay there. Looked up, no call, so he got back up. Circled back deep in his own zone and came out of nowhere. But it's the speed of Joe Sakic, Pat, through the neutral zone that creates it all. He circles into Ozelich, and Ozelich lets it rip. It might have hit Lemieux, who was going to the front of the net. But Sakic's speed forced the Hawks to back in. Lemieux to the front, and Ozelich uses him as a screen. It's 2-zip.
No, Sandis Ozelich with his 10th postseason goal in 49 career NHL playoff games. And this is looking alarmingly like Game 1 so far tonight.
It's scary what's happened. Deadmarsh wide open net missed. Forsberg stopped in the first game, and then Keane scored first, and Ozelich scored second, and guess what? Same things happened here, and it's happened earlier.
Avalanche goal.
Here's the draw now, taken by Suter, who clears it into the Colorado zone. Poked it to the near side. Crevo got it to the corner. Craven centered a shot, and the attempt from Amani hit a leg. Over to the far side. Sikora battling to hold it into the far corner. Craven moves in behind the goal. Craven spins there, but Forsberg got to him. Now over to the far side goes Corbet, and he slides it back to to center ice. Michael Sikora fires a long one. Blocker saved easily by Waugh. Came to the near side. Revo in the corner. Came away with it to the near dot. He shoots that, hitting some traffic in the slot. Bounce back to the near board. And we're going to have a penalty coming up as Amani was upended off the play. And the Blackhawks will get the game's first power play. It is early in game two. Colorado has grabbed a 2-0 lead on the Blackhawk network.
Sandis Ozolinsh was hammered by Weinrich. Went down, looked around, thought he was going to lay there, hurt, looked up, no call, got back up, circled deep in his own end, and then when Sakic got the line, he delivered a second goal. Meanwhile, Lamonti taken down by Young, and the Hawks on a power play in a must-capitalize situation to get some confidence, trailing 2-0 here in the early going.
Chance, Amani, and Daze are in front of Suter and Chelios as Chris Chelios clears it ahead. A touch pass to Chance to the near dot. Left it there for Amani. He walks in behind the goal with it. Tony Amani moved it to the line. Here's Suter in the deep slot. His long shot sailing wide. Rebound to the far board. Held in by Chelios. Gave it to Amani, top of the ring. Now side of the goal, Daze. Moved it back to the line. Chelios, here it comes. It's blocked by Yell, who clears. Now Craven, Miller, and Morrow come on to the Hawk power play with a minute remaining on it. As Suter dumps one in. Lefebvre looking to clear. Chelios with a bouncer, trying to keep it in, not quite. And it's cleared back to the Hawk line. And Suter's pass up over the stick of Chelios, and the Hawks are left to chase back for it. Here comes Sikora. He couldn't hang on to it at the Colorado line. Well, they battle along the near side. Kevin Miller trying to jam it loose, but finally it winds up at the center ice area. On the stick of Sikora, who dumps it in. Half a minute for the Hawk power play. Morrow in behind to Kevin Miller. Miller trying to center one and never got through. Back of the goal it goes. Craven had it knocked off his stick. And it bounces around to the near side. Mike Keane picked it up. Takes a little time before clearing. That'll take care of the Chicago power play. And now both teams are at full strength. And it's still 2-0 Avalanche. Here's Sutter in over the line. Centered one and never got to Cummins. Deflecting instead to the far corner. Gusarov. He's checked by Probert. Adam Foote then able to pick it up. And the puck is cleared out to center ice. Scott Young bouncing it into the Hawk zone. Down goes Sakic. He looked like he stepped on the stick of Sutter. Went down, and a penalty on Brent Sutter is going to be called with 11 and a half remaining in the opening period. Colorado with the 2-0 lead to the power play on the Hawk network.
Brent Sutter in the box. Jaworski with the arm up as Sakic stepped on the stick of Brent Sutter. And 2-0 Colorado with their first power play that scored 3 times. Sutter with a stick between the legs of Sakic, and down he went.
Off of Mike Ricci, face-off victory. Joe Sakic, a long wrist shot, and he can shoot it from long range. He's got one of the best wrist shots in the game.
Well, we talked about his great passing ability, his great speed through the neutral zone, but his terrific wrist shot.
Face off to the right of Hackett. Here's the draw to Sakic to the far corner. Center tip deflected just wide. Hackett might have gotten a piece of the Jones deflection. Now Jones back of the net. Bothered by Chelios, but Jones able to hang on to the near side with it. Goes across. Here's Sakic. A shot. Missed the target. Rebound to the near point. Ozolinsh cleared it in behind the Hawk goal. Mike Ricci battles to the far side. Jammed it loose. Kearney chasing to the near corner. He got checked, was unable to clear it. His dead march with his great speed got to him. Finally, the Hawks able to glove it back to center ice. Here's Joe Sakic. Carrying to center, put it over the line. Kaminsky on the left side, stopping, got it to Lemieux. He sent it right in Forsberg. Shot it off the side of the goal, and the rebound cleared back to center ice. A minute to go in the Colorado power play. Claude Lemieux dumps it in. Hackett tries the near board. Lemieux held it into Kaminsky in the corner. Steve Smith knocked it loose, but right to Forsberg. Here's a wraparound. Hackett got to the far post in time to stop it. And now Smith and Kaminsky a little jousting after the fact. Then Kaminsky speared or attempted to spear. Craven, it appeared. And they're both going to go.
And Steve Smith took a look. Dvorsky wasn't looking, so he gave him a shot, cross-check. And he banged into Craven, and Craven gave him a shot. And they'll both be sent off. Meanwhile, Forsberg with another great chance. Kaminsky in deep. Lemieux, a backhand pass through Steve Smith. And the shot wide just off the side of the net by Forsberg. Forsberg with 2 goals in game 1 and had probably the best scoring chance, stopped by Hackett early in the first period of game 1.
Hawks, Hartsburg trying to get the draw outside the zone, saying that the Colorado defenseman came inside the hash marks with that last little gathering, but the plea falls on deaf ears. And the face-off will be to the right of Jeff Hackett. It's 2-0 Colorado, just about halfway through the first period here in game 2. And the Avs still have 44 seconds of power play time. Here's the draw now. Weinrich kicked it loose behind the goal, chopped it to the near side. Ozolin's keeping it into Lemieux in the corner. Claude Lemieux got bumped by Weinrich. Now back of the goal it goes, and Weinrich working hard here. Came away with a puck and clears it. Now here comes Joe Sakic. Sakic cleared it to Ozolin's. Fires a long one. Look out in the crowd as that one deflects up high.
Such a great weapon for Colorado. Ozolin's with Sakic, great speed and ability. Forsberg's great speed and ability. With Sakic, from blue line to blue line, he just really turns it on to get momentum, and they're more apt to back in than to challenge him. And when you back in, then Ozolin's comes late, and Sakic has the ability to find him with a soft feather pass. That time, Hawks played it very nicely. Challenged outside the line and deflected that shot by Ozolin's.
Edmonton has the first goal of the game in Dallas. The Oilers with a 1-0 lead in the first period there.
St. Louis scored the first goal in Detroit. They lead 1-0 in the second period.
Here's the draw, won by Savard, and the Hawks able to clear. And as they do, the Chicago penalty is over. Both teams now are at full strength. It is cleared to the Chicago line. Sikora fires it off the glass to center. Morrow rolled it ahead, but then pass broken up, and Mike Keane sending it into the Chicago zone. Sikora safely clearing it out to center ice. Here's Keane on right wing, bouncing it back into Chicago territory. Sikora leaves it behind the net, needs some help. Now Hackett will dive to cover it up. Sikora thought he had his mate, I think, circling behind the net, but that's not what was happening.
First ever NHL playoff game for Michael Sikora, who did not start game 1. And I'm sure he's feeling a bit nervous, especially considering the circumstances. Tried to bank it off the boards to Suter, but Hackett alertly covers up before Keane could.
With 9 minutes remaining in the opening period here, Colorado has a 2-0 lead. Back to Denver in a moment on the Blackhawks Playoff Network. The draw, John Pemashot, and the pad save by Hackett with the right leg. Rebound to the near side, taken by Jones. He got checked along the boards by Sutter. Now Sakic came away with it, turned behind the net. Steve Smith spun him around there. Now to the near board, Weinrich. Gets help from Smith, who tries the far side. Cummins couldn't get to it. Ozolin's a long slap shot going wide. And Probert trying to clear, and for the third time, the Hawks failed to get it out of their own zone. Probert will try again. Got it to Sutter, and at long last, it's cleared to the Colorado end. Cummins Rubbed off by Ozolinsh on the far side, but Probert got to it back of the goal. And it's knocked away from him to Jones, who's checked by Sutter. They wrestle along the far side, and the whistle sounds.
Tune in to AM 1000 weekdays from 2 till 6. Steve Cochran helps you with your drive home on your sports and entertainment station, AM 1000.
As this whistle sounded, Chelios and Jones had a little exchange, and Chelios a moment ago having a chat with Ozolinsh. Now Clem comes into the neighborhood. The Blackhawks, at least so far tonight, when they have attempted to be physical, have not gotten too carried away with it.
Can't. They put themselves in such a deep hole in game one. Taking elbows down at all times. Sporting a couple of butterflies around the left eye.
Now here's the draw to Chelios at the far point. Denmark got to him in a hurry. Chelios had to bounce it in deep. Back of the goal. Ricci tries the far side, and Denmark tipped it away from Chelios to center. Riva Krasov leaves it for Amani over the Colorado line. And he lost the handle along the near side, but Craven picked it up. Got it to Chelios. A bouncing puck, though. He couldn't get rid of the pass. In behind the goal. It's cleared to the far side. Krivo covering up Chelios' point, trying to hold it in. Not quite, says Gord Brossiker.
Well, good read by Krivo Krasov, seeing that Chelios had gone in deep. He took his point and stayed there. And this shot or dump in to the corner hit a leg. Krivo Krasov, one of the few Hawk players with some scoring chances in game one. Krivo Krasov, this is his 17th career playoff game. 1 goal, no assists.
The 1 goal he scored was an overtime winner. But the Hawks here trailing 2-0. Here's Yellow Blast right on. Hackett, good save. Rebound taken by Eric Daze, who cleared it back into the Colorado zone. On the near side, Aaron Miller got a big jolt from Daze, but cleared it to the center ice area. Chance quickly back over the Colorado line. Left it for Daze, whose turnaround shot deflects the Chance, and he shot it wide. Came to the near side, Carney. Bounced it to the near corner. Chance takes a look from there, moved it to Carney, long one-timer, and a save by Waugh. Rebound Daze. His shot didn't get through. Boy, 2 or 3 times already Eric Daze has had good shooting opportunities, but his shots have all been blocked. Here's a centering pass, and Ricci in too deep, couldn't shoot it. Now Keane battling with Chelios, bouncing puck in the Hawks' goal mouth. Cleared back to the near side and to the Colorado line, where Ozolinsh gathers it in and then dumps one into the Chicago zone. Gary Suter tries a long bank pass, hopped away from Black, and it's a high stick, or a stick above the shoulders, knocking down the puck, and it was next touched by a teammate, so the whistle sounds.
Well, again, the Hawks with some pressure and a rare foray into the Colorado zone. They get the chance. Jeff Chance goes wide. The shot by Daze hits Miller in the leg, and nothing to show for their efforts. Savard 1 goal away from being tied with Bobby Hull for most career playoff goals by a Blackhawk.
173 points in 164 career playoff games for Savoir-Faire. It's dumped into the Colorado zone. To the near corner, Forsberg. Chipped it up the boards. Suter pinching to hold it in. Got it to the corner. Gary Suter now centered one. A penalty's going to be called against Colorado as Kevin Miller was dumped. And the Blackhawks will get their second power play chance of the game.
Again, good pressure. Seems to me the Hawk defense are moving in along the boards, and the Hawk forwards are taking their points. Krivo Krasov did it in the last shift. This time, Savard took Suter's point, and Miller just leveled from behind, and the Hawks with a power play and a chance Sandis Ozolinch gets an interference call at 13:58. And the Blackhawks will get their second power play of the first period. They've yet to score with the man advantage, and they're 0 for 6 in the series.
So the face-off will be to the right of Roy. Eric Daze with 3 career playoff goals in 27 games in the postseason is out there with Chance and Amante. Daze, as we said a moment ago, has had a number of good chances to trigger tonight, but his shots have never reached the net. Colorado's done a fine job of getting in the way. Now a bouncing puck in the slot area, but the Avs come away with it, and Yell clears it to length. Now Chris Chelios, the Suter. He bounced one over the line. Gusarov got to it in the corner. Amante checked in there, knocked him down. Tony Amante moved it out to the line. Chelios winds it back around the board. Chance behind the goal. Back to the line for Chelios. Near point to Suter. Deep slot to Chelios. He and Suter play catch. Now Suter tees it up and shoots. Tempo. Daze deflected it, but outside the far post. Now it's held in to Suter. His long flip shot open for a tip. Oh, what a save by Waugh. I think Amante may have redirected that. He and Daze were both waving at that little flip shot. And Patrick Waugh comes up big for Colorado.
Well, there's an example of why you don't have to slap the puck from the point of the power play. Suter wrists it. Daze swatted at it. Amante was right there, and I think Waugh might have beat Amante to the punch. Amante was poised and ready to redirect it, and Waugh got the glove on it just as Amante took a swat at it. A good play by Gary Suter. He was pressured at the point. Instead of trying to make something out of nothing, he flipped it towards the net, and it almost resulted in the first Hawk goal. 1:03 left on this second power play.
Now it's Craven, Probert, and Miller on for Chicago. Face off to the left. So the Colorado goal. Chelios at the far point. Bounce one to Weinrich. Got it to Kevin Miller, top of the near circle. Now Miller takes a look, then a wrist shot hit Craven, deflecting wide. Came back to the near side. Sakic couldn't pick it up. Lefebvre had it, lost it, and then a pass hit escape. Probert was ready and open right between the rings, but the pass never got to him. Now it's Kevin Miller. Back over the line, got it to Craven, side of the net, stripped away by Lefebvre. Then Craven got it back. Leaves it in the far corner. Bob Probert came away with it, moving toward the slot. Couldn't pull the trigger, and the Avs take it away and clear. One more rush on this Hawk power play as Sikora sends it in there. Probert to the near side for Sutter in the corner. Brent Sutter moves behind the Avalanche net. Got help there from Cummins. Now the Colorado penalty over. Both teams are at full strength. Cummins far corner. Leaves it for Probert. Probert looks for Sutter, and again the pass never reached the intended receiver. As Mike Keane managed to get it back to center ice. Now Adam Foote scoops it ahead. Lemieux ran out of time at the hog line. With 3.5 left in the first period, and Colorado owning a 2-0 lead. Now in the Hog zone, Amante battles it loose along the boards. Savard bounces to center. And the Avalanche will dump it right back in. Ethan Morrow deflecting it back to the Colorado line. Joe Sakic is there. To Gusarov. Clearing it in deep. Tony Amante on right wing. And the feed Morrow just hopped off the end of his stick. And now it's picked up by Keith Carney, who gave it to Daze. Then they get into the Colorado zone. Now on the far side, the Avalanche with Kaminsky. Carrying it back to the Hawk line, 3-on-3, left it for Forsberg. He spins, but his pass hit escape. Deflecting in behind the net, Kaminsky. Pushed it over to the far side. Now Forsberg has it for Kaminsky. Moves in, shoots as he was falling, and a pad save made by Hackett. Hawks had coverage there, and it broke down again. Here's Suter back to the Colorado line, trying to move in there. Fall off a check to center. Chance, cut to the net, turns behind the wrap around in front. They score! James Black finally gets the Blackhawks on the board after nearly 4 periods of play in the series. The shutout sequence of Patrick Waugh has ended, and James Black cuts the lead to 2-1.
Big goal for the Blackhawks late in the period to cut the deficit to 2-1. After Hackett made a good save on Kaminsky in a 3-on-3 situation. The Hawks counter. Good play from Suter. A guy went in deep to Chance. He tries to wrap around. Waugh went for Chance's move, and James Black all alone, he buries it. And Waugh, with probably about 230 minutes plus of shutout hockey in the playoffs.
Second career playoff goal for James Black. And Chance and Suter get the assist at 17:53. Here's the draw now. Aired into the Colorado zone. Adam Foote leaves it for Gusarov. He tries the near side, and it's chopped back to the Hawk line. Elios a lead for Amani. It's a 2-line pass, and the whistle sounds. Faceoff will be back inside the Hawk zone when we return to Denver. It's late in the first. It's 2-1 Lanch on the Blackhawk Network.
James Black's first goal of the playoffs, second career playoff goal. Stops Patrick Waugh's shutout streak at 231.05. The record was 248.32 by Norm Smith.
A record that has stood for over 60 years, and St. Patrick threatened it, but the Hawks ending the bid here tonight. Here comes Stefan Yell centering. Hackett blocked the attempt. Now it rolled loose in front, and Craven got to it there. To the near side for Amani. Tony Amani got checked by Yell at center. Ricci. Here's it back into the Chicago zone. Now Kriva Krasov got it to Craven. Pass is deflected at center. Winding up back in the Chicago end with Steve Smith. Now Chelios flips it ahead into the Colorado zone. We go to the final minute of the period as John Clem is checked by Cummins. Robert trying to bounce it loose and did, but the Avs able to recover and cleared the center ice. Now Robert along the near side, ran into Lefebvre, and Corbeil the other way. Will send it in behind the Blackhawk goal. Nice shot to the center ice area. Taken by Gusarov. His long feet over the stick of Sakic, slides to length, and icing coming up here against Colorado.
Good job of the Blackhawks getting back into this game and showing some confidence, getting that goal. They trailed 2-0 early. And looked like the floodgates might open. A couple of quality chances right after that. Forsberg missed a quality chance right after that to make it 3-0, but the Hawks come right back with some good pressure and some good chances. I've noticed the Hawk defense pinching in more and taking some chances in the offensive zone, while the forwards have read nicely and picked up their points. And it results in James Black goal. Gary Suter going in deep to keep the play alive. Got the Chance. Chance wrapped around, went out to James Black, and he put it into an open net.
Here's the draw now, taken by the Avalanche, and Keane able to clear it to center. Ricci dumping it in from there with 10 seconds to go in the period. Jose on the far side managed to bounce one to center. Chance got to the Colorado line, but lost the handle there, and that's going to do it for the first period. The Blackhawks Hawks in a lot better position tonight than they were in Game 1 after 20 minutes of play. Colorado scoring twice in the first 5 minutes. Mike Keane from Peter Forsberg at 3:53, and then moments later, Ozolinsh from Sakic and Jones at 5:06. But James Black got the Hawks' first goal of the series, assisted by Shantz and Suter at 17:53, 10-6. The Colorado shooting edge in the first period here tonight. After 20 minutes of play, it's Colorado 2, Chicago 1 on the Blackhawk Network.
One goal making a big difference for the Blackhawks. They trailed 2-1 at the end of one period of play. Jim Blaney along with Murray Bannerman. And Murray, how much does it help the Blackhawks just to know that they can indeed score on Patrick Waugh?
That goal was a big goal for the Hawks. Coming later in the period after they're already down, it gives them momentum, gives them a little life going into the dressing room. And one thing about tonight's game, their forechecking has been much better. You've seen that the Hawks have spent a little more time in the Colorado end. Although they haven't gotten a lot of great chances out of it, they're getting to the puck, they're keeping the puck in, and if they keep working that way, they're going to get some more scoring chances.
Let's take a look at our Gillette instant replay from the opening period of play. The Blackhawks fell behind in the early going 2-0 and finally started to generate some chances at the other end of the ice.
Shantz far corner. They had it knocked off his stick, but right to Daze, who fires, and that hits somebody in front. Rebound, a shot, and Morrow's drive missed the net with a backhander.
But a good rush, a good start. Daze's shot hit a leg. He went to Morrow. His backhand shot wide. And that's what Patrick Waugh.
We will check around the league for the other games going on tonight. In our game, the Avalanche lead the Hawks 2-1 at the end of one. But if he does, Stephanie Maxwell of Wheeling and Mickey Maslick of Chicago each will win 2 round-trip tickets to anywhere Southwest Airlines flies. All compliments of the nice folks at Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Let's check around the league now. Let's start by looking in at Detroit, where Detroit and St. Louis are playing Game 2 of their Western Conference quarterfinal series. The Blues leading this series 1-0 over Scotty Bowman's Wings. And guess what? Pierre Turgeon drops it off to Murray's former teammate Marc Bergevin. Not known as a goal-scoring machine, but he doesn't make a mistake here. Goes to the backhand, beats Vernon 1-0. St. Louis has the lead. They're now midway through the second period, and that goal is standing up so far. The Wings have yet to score a goal either. So you've got the Wings, you've got the New York Rangers as the only teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs now who have yet to score their first goal. Of course, the Rangers have only played one game. Edmonton and Dallas, a lot of things going on for a game that is 1-0. Mike Greer had the goal that gave Edmonton the lead on the power play. Shots on goal in the opening period of play, Edmonton 13, Dallas 2. But maybe a key injury for Edmonton. Brian Marchment taken off the ice on a stretcher during the first period. And you remember him from being here in Chicago. You know Brian Marchment is one of the toughest players in the NHL. For him to be taken off on a stretcher, he had to be seriously, seriously hurt. And later on tonight, Phoenix will take on Anaheim. Anaheim leading that series 1-0. When we come back after this timeout, we will have highlights from the opening period of play. The Avalanche leading the Hawks 2-1 after one. The Chicago Blackhawks now own the longest current streak of years making the playoffs. And it's the second longest streak all time. The Boston Bruins streak of 29, of course, came to an end last week. Time now for the first period highlights. Blackhawks leading. Isn't that wishful thinking? Blackhawks trailing 2-1 at the end of one period of play. Let's get to the highlights. And Murray, Game 2 started out just like Game 1 did. Blackhawks make a mistake in the neutral zone, give it away. Mike Keane to Peter Forsberg, back to Mike Keane, and it ends up in the Blackhawks net, 1-0 in favor of the Colorado Avalanche. And then a minute 13 later, here come the Avalanche again.
This is what Sakic does so well, and they have Ozolinsh on the ice with them a lot because Ozolinsh is good at following up in the play. Sakic gets over the line, cuts to the middle, looks, finds the man, puts it on his stick, it's in the net.
Then Gary Suter into the corner, just a one-handed pass, shovels it out in front of the net. Jeff Shantz keeps it alive and then puts it over to James Black, who buries the biscuit, his first goal of the playoffs. Of course it is, because it's the Blackhawks' first goal of the playoffs. But the good news is the Blackhawks are on the board and things have turned around because they trail by 1, getting ready to go to the second period. We'll get you ready for the second period right after this timeout. As we get ready for the second period of play, Murray, it's just amazing how one goal can change your entire outlook on life.
Yeah, and it changed the Hawks' outlook, that's for sure. They were going along, not too much happening, although I will say they were forechecking better and they had the opportunity to get some goals. It just didn't click. But they get that one goal, and after that, they really seemed to play a lot better. They got a lot more confident.
They also had a chance of getting blown out in that period, and that didn't happen either. It's 2-1 as we get ready to go to the second period of play. 3 years ago this Wednesday, the Hawks were at Chicago Stadium hosting the Leafs in Game 3 of the conference quarterfinals. A 5-4 win for the home team. Tony Amani tallied 4 goals for the Blackhawks. That's the subject of tonight's Discover Card Payback Playback.
Cut the Colorado lead to 2-1 before they start the second period. This Sunday, catch a special edition of the Sports Channel Report. Go live to the United Center in Comiskey for complete post-game coverage of Game 3 of the Hawks Avalanche first-round series and the Sox-Yankees matchup. That's the Sox and Hawks post-game Sunday, a Sports Channel Report special on Chicago's championship headquarters. Chelios played over half the first period. That's 10:04 the first period of the first game, 10:07 this one.
Well, a much more composed Chicago team has appeared in the first 20 minutes. Blackhawks look like, Dale, they've been able to shake off the 6-0 shellacking that they took. They really do not appear to be taking a backward step at all, and they're playing rather intelligently in the first part of this game.
Well, it would have been easy to fold the tent down 2-0 in the first 6 minutes. But they showed some grit and determination, some good pressure applied. Hackett with a couple of key saves, and Hawks did score but missed the net on a couple of occasions with some good chances. So a much better performance, and it's got to help their confidence somewhat coming into the second period, having gotten that first goal against Patrick Roy.
Who will be down to our right here in the second period? Jeff Hackett to our left for Chicago. 2-1 Colorado as we get the second period underway. The faceoff controlled by Carney, who bounced it into the Colorado zone. Gusarov. Clears it ahead, picked out a bit there beautifully by Deadmarsh. He gets to the Hawk line. His long shot hit Carney, deflecting to Chelios back of the goal. He lost the handle there. Poken loose by Deadmarsh. Now to the near board. Forsberg centered, and it deflects over to Krasov. Got it to Chelios, who dumps one in, hoping for Craven. Got a bad hop out of the corner, or at least not the hop he wanted. And the Avalanche able to clear it back to center. Adam Foote circling there. Gave it to Valerie Kaminsky. Ahead for Deadmarsh over the line. Chelios bumped him to the near corner. Then Deadmarsh got it picked to center, and Yell shot one wide with a one-timer. Hawks then able to clear it back to center. Now Ethan Morrow got it to Jeff Shantz. He has the line in on Miller. And Shantz trying to make a quick spin. Lost the net. Down he went. LeFay the other way. Fires a long one. Blocker saved by Hackett. Rebound to the near side. Weinrich. Got spun around along the board. Dug loose to Keane. Mike Keane centered one. Picked off by Shantz in front of the net. And Jeff Shantz moved it to center and Weinrich. Clearing it back of the Colorado goal, going to chase it himself, but has no help as the Blackhawks were changing. Now a centering attempt from Weinrich, just barely failed to click with Colbert. Now the Hawks clear it back of the Colorado goal. It's going to be icing against Chicago.
Seems to me the Blackhawks had a real intent on getting their one defenseman in real deep. And they're not sitting back, and it's been a real plus for them late in the first period. And Weinrich, you see how deep he was there. Was at a very solid performance, Weinrich. Michael Sikora in his first game ever. He's got to feel better as this game wears on. He had to be quite nervous, I would imagine, the first couple of shifts in his first ever playoff game.
Face-off will be to the left of Jeff Hackett. Brent Sutter gets ready for the draw with Colorado's captain Joe Sakic, and the faceoff is captured by Sikora. Michael Sikora able to bounce one out to center. Bob Probert bangs it in there, coming to the far corner. Checked along the boards. Probert in behind the net, and it's swept away by Ozolinsh. But the Hawks, Sikora managed to keep it in. Now the near side, a pass from Cummins just missed Probert. And Colorado's Jones gave it to Sakic. In over the Hawk line, weaves to the deep slot. Sakic over to the far circle with it. Centered one. Picked off by Suter to Sutter. And Brent Sutter works his way back to center ice, sending it into the Colorado zone. Heath Jones on the left wing boards. Gave it away, but Chelios' shot didn't get through. It's cleared to center. There Chelios flips it ahead. Black over the line. Fires, and a save by Waugh. Rebound foot. Poked it to the near side. Kevin Miller there to Black in the corner. And his pass is picked off by Jones. Feeding Forsberg. Peter Forsberg over the Hawk line. Weaves to the slot. Now a drop pass to Corbeil. A shot and a save by Hackett. And he holds on.
Well, Forsberg's good, but he was very fortunate at that time. He mishandled it, trying to make a move, and went right to Corbeil.
Just 3 minutes gone by in the second period tonight. Colorado 2, Chicago 1 on the Hawk Network.
When Forsberg mishandles it, it comes to Corbeil on a line change, and Hackett had to shut the door in a hurry. Though he saw it all the way, he was a bit surprised by it. Colorado's 12th shot on goal. The Blackhawks with only 7.
Face-off will be to the left of Jeff Hackett. Now the draw won by the Avs. Foot with a long shot. Hackett the stick save. Rebound center. Chelios picked it off. And out ahead to center ice for Krivo. Gave it to Craven over the line near side. Left it for Krivo, put it in front, Carney right in. Oh, what a play by Peter Forsberg. A diving defensive strip of the puck from well behind the puck carrier Carney. Now Forsberg the other way, in on goal. He tried to shoot, but he was hooked a bit and he shot it wide. Forsberg back of the net against Chelios. Got away from him, moves in front, centered, and it deflects to Krivo. Who outlets to Lamonti, racing back to the line. Foot cut him off. Now Lamonti left it for Craven, moving in, shooting. Wow, with the glove. Another highlight film save from St. Patrick.
Well, Forsberg makes a fine defensive play at the one end, comes back at the other end, almost gets a quality scoring chance. Then the Hawks counter. Monte stopped quickly at the line. The puck came back, and Craven going to the glove side with a quick snap wrist shot. But Patrick Waugh lightning quick with the glove to make a spectacular save. Forsberg around Krivo. Shot doesn't get on net. And he can make something out of nothing, and he also makes good defensive plays. And Murray Craven with the best chance of the period for the Hawks. Low to the glove side, and Waugh flashes it out nicely.
And from the draw, Colorado has iced it. And they'll bring the face-off right back into Avalanche territory. What a play that Forsberg just made, though, as Carney was within about 30 feet of the net, ready to trigger one. Appeared to be open, but from way behind him, Forsberg just made a great defensive play. You know, Dale, we talk a lot about Brent Sutter and the intangibles that he brings. You don't figure what he does on the score sheet necessarily, but how about this? When Brent Sutter was in the lineup, he played 39 games. The Hawks lost 13, winning 20 and tying 6. Here's Morrow a drive, and a save by Waugh. Rebound taken by Lefebvre, and he bounced it to center ice. Hawks dump it back in there. Now over to the far side, it's kicked loose to Yell. He got sandwiched along the boards. Chance poked it to the line. Smith with a long slap shot, and a save by Waugh with Morrow right there trying to distract him. But Waugh held on.
I think Morrow might have redirected that with his back to the goal. On the backhand, good play by Chance in traffic. And the shot by Steve Smith along the ice through the legs of a defenseman and deflected nicely by Morrow with his back to the goal. And Patrick Waugh, though, right there in good position. He never seems to be out of position. So I was really surprised on the first Blackhawk goal where he really challenged Jeff Jansen, came way out of the net, and then that enabled Black to tap it into an open side after Shantz got it to him.
Just to finish that thought on Brent Sutter, though, how about those numbers? Here's a team, when Brent Sutter was in the lineup, they were 7 games over 500. When Brent Sutter was unable to play due to injury, they were 8 games below 500. That is a substantial difference. And Sutter on there now between Cummins and Probert with a face-off to the right of Waugh. Now Sutter won the draw to Sikora with a long shot blocker saved by Waugh. Rebound to Suter. His shot hit a skate, deflecting to the near side, and Jones. Keith Jones pushed it to center. Probert broke up that rush. Back over the Colorado line. Kicks to the stick. Now a drop pass, but Jones had great coverage on his check. Cummins. And it winds up in the Hog zone. Sikora for Cummins in the center ice area, and he managed to bounce one in there. Taken by John Clem. Clem's pass deflecting, but Ozolinsh picked it up. Chipped it ahead. Lemieux over the Hawk line, offside is the call. Claude Lemieux, one of 3 Colorado players, Dale, who has won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the most valuable player in the playoffs.
106 points with 58 career goals. He's been a real money player in the playoffs. Also an agitator. He's a terrific playoff performer.
Lemieux won the award. Patrick Waugh won it twice, and Joe Sakic, the captain, was the MVP of the playoffs last season when Colorado captured the Stanley Cup. Here comes Savard in over the Colorado line to the deep slot. Now shoots, tip deflected wide by Black. Back of the goal it goes, and Aaron Miller came away with it there. Clearing to Lefebvre. Got it to Sakic, rolled it over the line. Lacroix trying to split the defense. Not this time as Chelios took it away. Got it to Black, who safely fires it back the other way. And it's going to be an icing call against Chicago. Kevin Miller, as that puck was cleared out of the zone, got dumped by Aaron Miller. And a little verbal exchange there, but no damage done.
Sakic loses it. It goes right to Lacroix. Lacroix taken off the puck by Chris Chelios. And then Miller get involved. No penalties called. A little jabbing with the stick. Big size differential there in favor of Aaron Miller.
2-1 Colorado, still early in the second period. Face off in the Chicago zone. Forsberg left it for Kaminsky. Big handling, got away from Craven, trying to center. Chelios deflecting the pass to Detmarsh, who shoots, and that's blocked. And out comes Carney. Triggers ahead to Cremo in over the line. Foot recovered beautifully to break up the rush and steal it. He clears it to center ice. Craven sweeps it back over the line. Here's Amani shooting, and he missed the net. To Chelios at the near point, put it across. Here's Carney, long shot. Wow, the save. Rebound to the far board, and Detmarsh. And now Amani flattened off the play by Foot. But here comes Ricci over the line shooting, or that was Detmarsh rather. And he shot it up high. Aimed to the near side. Taken by Forsberg along the boards. Knocked down by Craven. That allows Chelios to clear it ahead, and Krivokrasov gains the line, shoots one. A pad save with the left leg from Patrick Waugh. Now Shantz had it knocked off his stick. He got taken down. The play continues as Keane carries it into the Hawk zone with a wrist shot, deflected, and a glove save by Hackett, who then played it to Weinrich. Eric Weinrich looking for Daze. Lefebvre checked him. And back into his own end is Ethan Morrow, playing in his second postseason NHL game. Morrow's pass picked off by Yell. Now to the far corner it goes. Morrow Wrestling along the boards, unable to get it out. Ricci got a big jolt from Smith. And Morrow again able to gather it in. Sends a long pass over the stick of Shantz. It slides the length and icing. Coming up here against Chicago. 12 and a half remaining in the second period. 2-1 Colorado on the Chicago Blackhawk Network.
Spectacular young defenseman. Very physical, swats it away, and then gets away with one. He elbows Amante, no call. Foot thought he was going to get a penalty, looked across ice, saw the referee didn't put his arm up, and got away with it.
Face off to the right at Jeff Hackett. And the draw over to the far side. Claude Lemieux had to elude him. The Avs hold it in. Clem bounce one in behind the goal. Jones trying to center. It's a shot. They score! What a pass by Jones, who threw it in front, and Claude Lemieux finished. And Colorado has jumped in front by a 3-1 score.
Well, it's a big goal. Colorado was a little bit shaken and taken aback by that Hawk goal late in the first, but that is a big goal to get them their 2-goal lead again. And again, we talked about the playoff performer, Claude Lemieux. Clem kept it in at the point. Jones with a good pass after falling to the ice. Clem put it in behind to Jones. Jones with a great pass and right on the money to Lemieux. What a play by Jones. A no-look pass on the backhand from behind the net, right on the money.
So it's 3-1 Colorado now as Sakic dumps it in. Brent Sutter looking to clear. And a hand pass is ruled here against the Avalanche. 59 playoff goals now for Claude Lemieux. 3 in 7 games in his career against the Blackhawks in postseason play. This is his 8th game against Chicago. And he's got 3 goals.
They're playing with a lot more confidence and giving Colorado all they could handle, and now they come right back with an excellent play. Tell you what a great trade they made. Simon was a valuable part of this club. Did not play a lot in the playoffs for them last year, the big tough winger, and they got Jones, and he has really fitted nicely with them.
Here come the Avs again. Here's a shot by Corbeil and a save. Rebound and a save by Hackett. As I think it was Lacroix trying to stuff it home, and Jeff Hackett able to hold his ground.
Well, the whole bottom side collapsed, and Corbeil took a look. He was at the bottom of the far circle. I don't think he realized how much time and room he had. It got by Black, and he went in. Chelios took his man in front, and that allowed Corbeil to go and try to stuff it. Key save by Hackett to keep it a 3-1 Colorado lead.
Dale, you talk about that great trade they made as they sent the tough winger Simon to Washington for Jones. They also got a first-rounder back, didn't they?
They did. Well, they also got a first-rounder from L.A. in the Lacroix trade, too. They gave up their first-rounder, Colorado did, but they got L.A.'s first round in '98.
Here's the draw now, and Riva Krasov dumps it in. Came to the near side. Chelios pinching in. Bounce one to Crave into the corner. Back of the goal to Amati. Trying to slip it in front. Nobody home for Chicago. Came to the near side and Crevo had it knocked away. Chelios held it into Craven. Shooting. Wow was hugging the near post. Rebound in behind the goal. Jammed loose to the far corner. Amati and Quick continue their battle. And now we're going to have a penalty coming up against Colorado. Riva Krasov on the near side. Trying to work his way to the slot. Lost it. And a penalty coming up against the home team.
Adam Foote got away with one earlier, got away with another one, and then took a stupid penalty. With Amante down, he cross-checked him in the back of the helmet. And that'll be the call, and the Hawks have a chance to get back within 1 on a power play. So they have had quite an ongoing battle. He just cross-checked him in the back of the head. A real cheap shot by Foote. He got away with a couple earlier on Amante, but not that time. So the Blackhawks, with their third power play, they're 0 for 2 and 0 for the series with the man advantage. They better get this straightened out. If they have any thoughts of winning this series, their power play's got to be at a top performance. And so far, it hasn't been. 0 for 7 in the game and a half that they've played. Detroit has just tied it up. It's 1-1 now in the third with St. Louis. Edmonton leads Dallas 2-zip in the second. And Phoenix and Anaheim is a later start. Daze out there with Amante and Chance, Chelios and Suter on the points.
Face-off just inside the Colorado line, and from the draw, Yell clears it the length of the ice. Yell and Keane are in front for the Avalanche. Gusarov and Clem are the defensemen here for the penalty killers. Here's Chance in over the line, tipped away by Gusarov. Now Amante's stick came up and clipped Stefan Yell, and he's going to get a penalty, and that'll take care of the Hawk power play.
Second time that on the power play where Amante has had a penalty called against him. The first one was for interference earlier in game 1, and this one was accidental. Chance had it stripped away by Gusarov, pinched in by Amante, but the stick got the Colorado player Yell in the face, and that's it for the Hawk power play. Amante, a high sticking call. So a power play that lasted for 20 seconds. The Hawks are 0 for 3 and 0 for 8 in the series.
So 4 skaters aside now with a face-off coming up at center ice. And Forsberg and Kaminsky, 2 dazzling offensive talents, are out there for Colorado. Chance and Daze are the Hawk forwards. Here's the draw. Cleared into the Chicago zone. Kaminsky hustling, got away from Weinrich, cuts in, shoot! And he had it deflect wide. Rebound to the near side. And it's cleared back the other way. Aaron Miller circling deep in his own end. Lost it to Weinrich. Weinrich in the deep slot. Trying to get it to Chance, but it's broken up. And back to center ice comes Aaron Miller, clearing it into the Chicago zone. Weinrich on the near side, going rink wide to Chance. He's got room to the Colorado line, crisscrossing to the near board. Chance to the corner, trying to center, but Lefebvre knocked it away. And Forsberg comes out for the home team. Peter Forsberg in over the Hawk line, tipped it in deep. And Chelios got it to Suter. Chelios now circling in his own end. Clearing ahead to Savard at center. Lost it as he got to the line. And Chicago's Carney dropped it into his own end for Chris Chelios. We're now halfway through the second period, 3-1. Avalanche. Savard in over the line, left it for Chelios, shooting. And he shot it wide. And it bounced all the way back to the Hawk line. Now the Colorado penalty is over. A short man advantage for the Avalanche as Denmark gets over the line, fires, and it's deflected wide. And off the end boards, Hackett will get a whistle.
Well, the goaltender's got to be very alert when they come out to challenge, come outside the crease, because these end boards are really lively, and so is the glass. 4-on-4 situation, always a dangerous situation with Colorado. That shot by Denmark hit a skate, hit the end boards, and the goalie who comes out to challenge, comes out of the crease to play the angle. Got to be alert because they come out quickly right to the front of the net. And Hackett's had to do it a couple of times in this period. Adam Denmark, 33 goals.
21 years old. He's already won a Stanley Cup. He was on the victorious World Cup Team USA.
Second round pick in '93.
You know, he hasn't really shown it a lot in the games we've seen him against the Hawks, but talking to a couple of Blackhawk players, this guy's as tough as they come. If he drops the mitts, he can go with just about anybody. Now here's the draw. Ozelin to the near side. A drive and a save by Hackett on Lemieux. Rebound. Hackett stopped that attempt. And now the near board, Claude Lemieux. Trying to center one. A shot from Jones. Hit the side of the net. Sakic in behind. Joe Sakic takes a look. Slipped it in front. It's taken by Clem. A drive. And that deflects wide. Now the Hawk penalty over. Both teams at full strength. As Brent Sutter. And his to clear it back into the Colorado zone. Avalanche poked it out to center. Jones backhands it ahead. Avalanche gets over the line. Spins to the far corner. Centered. And it deflected off the side of the net. Now Daze brings it to the near side. And at center ice, Aaron Miller for Colorado. Gave it to Rene Corbet, and he throws it in. Steve Smith back to the near side, and Weinrich hold it ahead to Shantz, eluding one hit, then another, and then his pass didn't connect with Morrow. And winds up back at the hog line. Sikora got it to the center ice area. Now Forsberg and Amani collide, and Sikora then picks it up deep in his own end. For Amani on right wing, a touch pass for Craven. Gets it into the Colorado zone, trying to flip the defense. It rolls away into the far corner. And then the Avs clear it to the Chicago end. Here's Michael Sikora on it. Bounce it up the boards, not out. Yell keeping it in. Now Ricci trying to center. He knocked down as the puck reached him. And the Hawks scream a Krasov. Gave it to Gary Suter. Now Sikora. A back pass. Oh, and he's flattened by Keane. And Amani center one footer, a drive. And he shot it wide. Oh, Sikora left the back pass, and Keane just unloaded on him and flattened him with a good clean hit in open ice at the Colorado line. Here's the puck cleared ahead. Probert works his way into the Avalanche zone. His pass deflected to Chelios. His shot is blocked. Chelios then taken down as he tried to retrieve it. And back to center ice it goes. Blackhawks dump it in. Probert to the far board. Centered one. Too far for Sutter. Now Sutter along the near board. And his pass picked off. And Gusarov failed to clear it. Waugh tries the near side. Probert. And they say knocked it down with a high stick. So the whistle sounds with 6 minutes remaining in the second period. It's 3-1 in favor of the champions on the Blackhawk Network.
Michael Sikora, big defenseman, takes a big hit from a small forward. And you youngsters playing hockey, don't admire these backhand passes or behind-the-back passes, because you can end up in la-la land, and Sikora was able to get back up, but he paid the price as Keane lowered the boom while he admired that pass, looking to his left behind him.
Here's James Black in the offensive zone. Got it to Smith, put it in deep. Savard tried to slip it in front. Sakic broke up that attempt. And now Avalanche deep in his own end as Miller was taken down trying to get to him, and Clem going to get a penalty.
The Hawks with their fourth power play, though their last one only lasted 20 seconds, but we talked about the importance of special teams, and at 14:06 of the second, they need to punch one in here to cut the lead to 3-2. They're trailing 3-1. Goals by Keane, Avalanche, and Lemieux. Black the lone Blackhawk goal. John Clem. There's a youngster who's a free agent and has really filled in nicely and played beautifully on the right point. He can play the forward position as well. And likewise, early in the year, we saw Aaron Miller play the right wing. So they're a very versatile team. They can play it, put these guys up front, put them back.
They're missing a big guy in that defense at Uwe Krupp. He's a great player.
Scored the game-winning goal, the Stanley Cup-winning goal.
Face off to the left of Waugh. The Blackhawks try to come through on the power play for the first time in the series. Here's the draw to Gusarov, clearing.
Hawks did well in the first period, Pat. They won 12 faceoffs and only lost 7. I think Colorado's done a better job in the second period.
Now Suter bounced it up the far side. It came right back to him. And Suter carries to center ice. Now gets to the line, but his pass was at the feet of Daze. And Hawks need to regroup. Now Amani gains the zone, but his pass is picked off, and Adam Foote clears it the length of the ice. Here comes Kevin Miller. To Probert over the line. Probert works to the top of the rink, feeding Amani. He couldn't quite pick it up cleanly. Now back to the near point in Chelios. Deep slot to Suter. He's well covered by Forsberg. Now taken by Kevin Miller, whose shot doesn't get through, but went to Chelios. Fires! Shot it wide. Rebound to the far board. Suter able to keep it in there. Cleared it to Amani, and he tried to feed Chelios, but the Hawk captain was going off for a change, and nobody was at the near point. Back over the line is Weinrich, cutting to the net. Weinrich, the stop attempt, and a save by Waugh as he got driven to the end boards. Eric Weinrich.
Eric Weinrich has been on really a mission tonight. He's played extremely well. He's been very determined. He's had a solid year, and I think he needs to get more power play time than getting the last 30 seconds of a power play. It may be wise to start him on the point in the power play. 34 seconds left on this power play, and the only chance was right there as Weinrich tried to cut and go to the net as Lefebvre pushed him off, but Waugh with that left leg able to prevent the puck from crossing the line.
Half a minute to go on the Chicago power play. 4.5 for the second period. 3-1. Colorado face off to the left of Waugh. And the draw is picked up by Sikora. His long shot didn't get through. Back of the goal, it goes to Shantz. Shantz to the far circle with it now. Got knocked down as he tried to muscle to the net. And the puck cleared back the other way. Here's Weinrich. Sending Shantz to center. He weaves to the line and to send it in deep. Adam Foote back of the goal. Left it for Yell. Stefan Yell managed to bounce it back the other way. Now the Colorado penalty over. And both teams are at full strength. Shantz had his pass picked off. Gusarov to send it ahead. That didn't work. And Morrow was checked by Gusarov at the Colorado line. Gusarov got it ahead. Here's Sakic in over the Hawk line. Kicks to the stick. Handling trying to center one. Jones well covered by Probert. Loose chipped it away beautifully. Now to Sutter. He was stopped in the neutral zone, and he's shaken up. Sutter can't put any weight on his left leg again. He got caught in that breakout for the Hawks, and Sutter limping badly as he goes to the Chicago bench. Now here's Probert in the offensive zone. On a battle away from Clem. Got help from Cummins. Out to the line. Here's Kearney with a long drive. That is deflected up over the top of the goal. Aimed to the near side. And Craven got it to the corner. Sakic there. Lost it behind the goal. Cummins was taken down along the board. Puck came loose to Gusarov, and he calmly swats it back into Chicago territory, and it's going to be icing against the Avalanche. Down to 2.5 remaining now in the second period here tonight of Game 2. The Avalanche lead the series 1-0. They lead this one 3-1 on the Blackhawks.
Well, Brent Sutter at the end of the Hawk bench is really in a lot of agony. Bob Probert passes to him. Gusarov stands up. They go skate to skate, tries to avoid it, and the knee that was fragile to begin with seems to be worse than it was a couple of weeks ago, and he is in a lot of pain. Gusarov skate to skate, and he just goes down and twisted it worse than it was, and as it was stated, it was a knee that's sore to begin with.
Here's Prevost back of the Avalanche goal. Rolled it over to the far side. Amani got checked nicely there. Then it came in front, and Amani's shot is blocked. How many shots have the Avalanche blocked in this game?
Well, they play their positions well. They're always protecting their end, and it seems that everything's hitting the legs of the defenders, and that's been the story all year offensively.
Here's Kaminsky with a drive right on, and a save by Hackett. Rebound cleared to Krivokrasov. Rolled it to center ice. Now Gooser off a nice flip pass. Here's Kaminsky over the line, left it for Forsberg, right around it, checked and centered, and Chelios able to break up that attempt. Forsberg threw it in front, that in Weinrich, deflecting to the far side. And now bounces around to Daze, and he sweeps it to the Colorado line with 1.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Avalanche able to dump it in. Morrow tipped it up the near board. Forsberg unable to corral it, and it's cleared to center ice. Kaminsky got it to Deadmarsh. Lost it at the Hawk line. And it's cleared back into Colorado territory as we go to the final minute of the second period. Here's Sylvain Lefebvre shooting it in there. Ricci back of the goal. Left it for Keane. Mike Keane got it to Yell. Into the far corner, Stefan Yell poked it back of the Chicago net. Out of the near side. Avalanche able to hold it in. Now Ricci back of the Hawk goal with it. Tried to slip it in front. That didn't get there. And Ethan Morrow turns and flips it ahead. Cummins trying to chase it down into the Colorado zone. Got to it in the far corner, then had it stripped away. And it's poked back into Chicago ice. Chelios will have to play it. With time for one more rush in this period. Hawks dump it in. Waugh had his stick lifted by Probert to Craven near corner center. Cummins a drive. And on a shot blocked by either Lemieux or Clem. They were both there. And a last-second chance for Jim Cummins is thwarted.
Good hustle by Probert to lift the stick surprisingly well from behind. And then the quick pass into the slot to Cummins, and Clem was at an outstanding game. Got in the way of it. Lefebvre to Craven. Craven out front to Cummins, in the shot blocked by the defenseman Clem to force this faceoff with 3.4 seconds to go. And Colorado with a 3-1 lead. They have the lone goal of the period. Brent Sutter still shaking his head in a lot of pain on the end of the Hawk bench. Claire knows better than anybody if it's good or not, or if he'll be able to come back. Just hoping that it was a nerve or something that deadened in the leg, but he's had a bad knee for the last 3-4 weeks.
Jammed off, unable to go. Sutter playing at less than 100%, and now his percentage has dropped. Savard is not 100% either. The Blackhawks have really Jeff Shantz as their only centerman that is at his physical capacity. And against this Colorado team that is so deep down the middle, that is a problem. Here's Chelios, a long shot up over top of the net as the second period comes to an end. Little discussion after the period ends, but appears that everybody will be able to separate. And the only goal of the period, a big one for Colorado, scored by Claude Lemieux. A neat passing play assisted by Jones and Clem at the 7:30 mark to extend the Colorado lead to a pair. Shots on goal in the second period. The Blackhawks had 8. The Avalanche had 11. The two-period total 21 for Colorado and 14 for Chicago. The Hawks in much better shape here after 40 minutes than they were in Game 1, but badly in need of another goal as soon as they can get it in that third.
We talked about special teams being a big factor. A team that doesn't score a lot needs to take advantage of those power plays, and they're not doing it. They're 0 for 9 in the series. They've played much better, yet Colorado is really a good hockey club, and they have a 2-goal lead, a big goal for them in the second period to give them that 2-goal cushion to start the third.
40 minutes complete in Game 2. It's Colorado 3, Chicago 1 on the Blackhawk Network.
Two periods in the books. The Avalanche leading the Blackhawks 3-1 after 2 periods of play. Jim Blaney along with Murray Bannerman. And let's go back to something Pat pointed out just a few moments ago. It just seems like every time the Blackhawks tee up and take a shot, there's one, if not two, Avalanche defenders in the way. And Patrick Waugh isn't even seeing the puck most of the time.
Yeah, the shots on goal for the Hawks are low. but they've had many more chances than their actual shots on goal. Their forechecking has been good. We saw an instance right at the end of the period where Probert went in hard, Craven went in, picked up the puck, made a pass to Cummings, and he just took too long to shoot the puck. He wants to wind up instead of getting a quick release, and that's happened maybe half a dozen times in that period.
End of 2 periods means it's time for a look and a listen to tonight's Ameritech Call of the Period.
Foot cut him off. Now Amani left it for Craven, moving in, shooting. Wow! With the glove. Another highlight film save from St. Patrick.
3-1 Avalanche lead the Hawks. We'll take a look around the league after this timeout.
Have been granted a
Leading the Blackhawks 3-1 at the end of 2 periods of play. Let's now check in on the other games going on tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. First of all, in Detroit, Game 2, St. Louis and Detroit. Scotty Bowman's team down by 1 game in this series. Early going, Pierre Turgeon drops it off for Marc Bergevin. He'll cut in, waits for Mike Vernon to commit then to the backhand and the score. 1-0 St. Louis had the lead. No scoring in the second period of play, but in the third, shorthanded, here come the Wings. Chris Draper cuts in and scores, putting the Wings on the board for the first time in the series. 3 minutes after that, Larry Murphy scores, and Detroit now leading 2-1 as that game begins to get late in the third period, with Detroit trying to tie that series at 1 game apiece. Edmonton leading Dallas 2-0, getting ready for the third period of play. Curtis Joseph is working on the shutout in that one. Brian Marchment of Edmonton taken off the ice on a stretcher after being injured in the first period. And Phoenix and Anaheim, they'll drop the puck in about 10 minutes. The Ducks leading that series 1-0. When we come back after this timeout, highlights of the second period. The Avalanche lead it 3-1 after 2. Avalanche leading the Blackhawks 3-1 at the end of 2 periods of play. Let's get to the highlights of the second period. And Murray, here's something we've seen a lot of. Forsberg and Sakic, here they come.
Yeah, and we talked before the game about controlling the neutral zone. They let Forsberg come through the neutral zone and find an open man as he cut across the middle of the ice.
And the Blackhawks trying to mount a challenge. Murray Craven from the dot, Patrick Waugh with the glove save, keeping it at 2-1. But the Avalanche would get the only goal of the third period. Ozolinsh did a great job of keeping it in. The Avalanche start to work it around. We've seen them dig it out from behind the net and put it in front many times. That time, Claude Lemieux gets the feed from Keith Jones, Lemieux's second goal of the series, and it's 3-1 in favor of Colorado. Our puck priorities, looking back on those, snowball effect, the Blackhawks have done very well in this category. They haven't taken the dumb penalties as they did in Game 1 of this series. Item number 2, pass the catch-up. Well, Colorado got ahead early, and the Blackhawks have not been able to catch up so far. And finally, turnovers. A turnover led to the first goal, Murray, but this has been nowhere near what we saw in Game 1 in this category.
No, it hasn't. The Hawks have been much better in that area of the game. They've gotten the puck in deep, gotten it out of their zone, and they've been much tougher on the puck when they've had it, and they haven't given it away. They've been done very well, but as you see, when you have 1 turnover against this Colorado team, they can put it in your net.
It can cost you in a hurry. When we come back after this timeout, we'll get you ready for the third period of play. The Avalanche lead it by a pair after a pair. Each win 2 round-trip tickets to anywhere Southwest flies, all compliments of Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. We say it a lot during the course of the year, but the next goal is really a big one. Avalanche get it, they're up by 3 and they can cruise home. Blackhawks get it, they might still have a chance.
And they will still have a chance. If they get a quick goal to start this period, they'll only be 1 down. Perhaps they can get Colorado back on their heels a little bit where they're fighting it a bit. But the big thing is they've got to find a way to get their shots off quicker, get them through past the defenseman so they can actually get the shots through on goal and get some goals.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Don't forget the Sports Channel report coming up after our game is over. Strap it in and hold on. For the ride through the third period in Colorado, our trusty ice pilots, Pat and Dale, are back in control as soon as the Zamboni finishes its laps. Murray and I will be back after the game. See you then.
The Blackhawks trail the Avalanche 3-1 as we get ready to start the third period. Sunday, the Sox play the world champion New York Yankees. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock on Sports Channel. We know the Sox inside out. Jeff Hackett has faced 21 shots. He's made 18 saves. Had Patrick Waugh has faced 14 shots and made 13 saves. Chris Chelios played 10 minutes and 7 seconds of the first, 10 minutes and 33 seconds of the second, 20 minutes and 40 seconds total of the 40 minutes that have been played.
And bad news for the Blackhawks. Brent Sutter has not returned from the Chicago dressing room, and it appears the Hawks will have to go without him here in the third period. Probably see Kevin Miller get some time at center ice, I would imagine now, with Jeff Shantz really the only healthy centerman the Hawks have. Savard is also willing and able to play, but he's not at 100%.
Murray Craven with a bad back. He's been playing center between Amante and Krivo Krasov. With Jamnov not in the lineup and Brent Sutter now down. Hawks got an uphill battle here in the third.
Which is now underway with Patrick Waugh to our left for Colorado and Jeff Hackett to our right for Chicago. The draw is controlled by the Hawks. Carney. Carney, good feed to Craven. Steps to the line. Fires! Oh, it hit Waugh, I think, in the headgear. He had to buck his head back to avoid it hitting him maybe in the throat even. Now in behind the goal, Amante jammed it loose to Carney. Put it across to Chelios. His long wrist shot into the glove or out of the glove of Waugh. And it finally is captured by the Avs Kaminsky, who cleared it to center. Now Krivo Krasov to Amante over the line with a wrist shot. Well wide of the target. And it bounced all the way back into the Chicago zone. Now here's Yell with a steal, trying to center a shot. Hackett, big save on a point-blank chance for Keane. And Smith threw it away. Here's Ricci, a shot tip, and a save by Hackett. Rebound to the near board, and Morrow got it to Smith. Ahead for Shantz. He was checked at the last second by Aaron Miller. And now the Hawks, Weinrich in his own end. Got it to Daze on the right side. Rink wide for Smith. He pushed it in there. Behind the Colorado goal, Keane fires it up the boards, not out, held in by Smith. He chipped it ahead, and Keane knocked it down with a high stick, and the whistle sounds. And Patrick Waugh now signaling for something from the Colorado bench.
Checking his mask out.
Yeah, that high hard one got him in the headgear, and he might need some repairs.
Well, he's calling for the trainer. I don't know if it's the equipment manager or the trainer, but Craven had 3 shots on goal in the second period. That one, a high riser off the stick, hit him right in the face. And then both trainers come out now to take a look at Patrick Waugh. And hit him dead and square in the chin, and he's feeling some pain on the left side.
Patrick Waugh appears to be saying that he's okay, and a great competitor like he is going to take a lot to get him out of the lineup.
Greg Billington's the backup. He shut the Blackhawks, got a win against the Blackhawks in the last game here. And Jeff Hackett and Billington have a little story going. Billington and Hackett went to the same schools, grade school and high school in London, Ontario. Billington older than Hackett, but Hackett's older brother are best friends of Billington.
Patrick Waugh is okay. The face-off will be to his right. And Miller in for the draw against Sakic. Puck bouncing around just out of the reach of Cummins. And out comes Ozolinsh. Sandis Ozolinsh over the Hawk line. Mishandled it. Did roll to Hackett, and he'll get a whistle.
I think it's a good play for the Blackhawks and Jeff Hackett to freeze the puck at every opportunity. Slow the pace down. Keep it close. Frustrate Colorado that way. Don't get into a wide open skating match with them. Next goal is a big one. Hawks score, and there's be an exciting finish. Colorado scores, and they've got a commanding lead.
Face-off will be to the left of Jeff Hackett. 3-1 Colorado early in the third. Here's the draw. Chris Chelios up the left side to Probert. He got it to Kearney, who carries it over the Colorado line in on Ozelin. Kearney centered, too far for Probert. Aimed to the near side of Lemieux. Cleared it to the Hawk line. It's shot back into Colorado territory, and John Clem put it up the boards. Probert steals, tried to feed Cummins, but he's well covered. Sakic came away with it. Joe Sakic chips it in. Lemieux played the man so Sakic could play the puck. He threw it across for Lacroix. Shoots, and it didn't get through. Bouncing free to center. Adam Foote back over the Hawk line. Sends it around the boards. Chelios looking for Probert. Lacroix stole it, centered. It hit Kearney, laid loose in front. Forsberg shoots, and a save by Hackett, and he hangs on to it.
A good shift by Lacroix, the general manager's son. Had a very solid year, and he works along the boards. His shot deflects to Forsberg, who's in deep, has no room. Weak attempt, stopped by Hackett, and wisely frees it and holds onto it. The Hawks, as we stated, without Jamnoff and now without Brent Sutter. Now Miller will have to play center with Craven and Savard and Chance. Lacroix, his father Pierre, the general manager, former agent, who was also the agent of Dennis Savard.
Now Savard and Detmarsh will get ready for a draw to the left to Jeff Hackett. And here it is, taken by the Avs. Foot, clearing it around the boards. Kaminsky to the far side. Sikora wrapped him up. Puck came loose to Savard. Here's Savard racing back over the Colorado line. Bounce one to Black near side. Centered one. It hit a skate. Deflecting back to the near board. And the Avs are there with Forsberg clearing to center. Peter Forsberg weaving over the Hawk line. And his pass picked off by Black. Bounced it ahead. Amati got it over the line. Now moves into the spot. Shooting. And a save by Waugh. Boy, a late reaction from Patrick. But he managed to have the right pad in the proper spot and made a good save on Amati. And it's dumped back into the Hawk zone. Taken by Kearney. Or Kriva Krasov up the left wing board. Dumping it in. Miller bounced one in behind the goal. Now Craven jammed it loose. Kevin Miller had it knocked off his stick by Lefebvre. And now the Hawks, Kearney able to keep it into the deep slot. Kearney stick handling, shooting, and it deflected wide. Rebound Craven back of the net. Craven, here's circle to Kearney, chopped it in front. Primo turns, shoots. Whoa, got a piece with the gloves. Rebound to the near side. And it's cleared to center and Corbet, who dumps one in. Now Chelios got it to the neutral zone. And shot right back into the Blackhawk end. And Daze and Ricci wrestle along the boards. Cleared across to Ethan Morrow. He's taken off the puck by Foote. Chance facing to the near corner was wrapped up there. And came up with it along the board. Center Daze. His shot deflected up high and came right into the goal crease off the lively end boards that you talked about earlier. But an alert Patrick Waugh covered it up. 5 minutes gone in the third. 3-1 Colorado on the Hawks Network.
Coming on, trying to get that second goal. Patrick Waugh having a real solid start. And Krivo Krasov, who's had the best chances of the Blackhawks in 2 games, stopped high. Amante goes low. Waugh kicks that one away. Murray Craven hit him in the head. They've tried every angle possible, except through the 5-hole. Hit him in the head. They tried to go high to the glove. They tried to go low to the stick.
One of the reasons Patrick Waugh, if he hangs on to this victory, will have his 88th postseason win, which ties the all-time mark of Billy Smith of the Islanders. Here's Probert. The the side of the Colorado goal. Had it knocked away, but right to Savard, who centered. It bounces around in the slot. Cummins jammed it loose, but the Avs pick it up, and Sakic out to center. Stick handling to the Hawk line, and it knocked loose, carried on by Jones. Pete Jones trying to move it. Cummins able to tie him up nicely before he could shoot. Then Sakic came away centering, deflected from a drive, and a save by Hackett, rebound Edmarsh, and he couldn't advance it toward the goal. Now Suter. Here's it to Probert over the line. He stops to the near side, got it to Savard, a wrist shot and a save by Waugh. And the rebound to Ozelinch. Safely slides it to the center ice area. Hawks able to get it in there. Ozelinch paired it up the right side. Claude Lemieux poked it loose. Here's Kaminsky over the line to Forsberg, near side, a long shot, hoping for a tip, and Kaminsky just barely failed to redirect it. Peter Forsberg, who, including his 2 goals in Game 1, Forsberg, coming into the game tonight, in his last 21 games, had scored 17 goals. What a finish to the year he had. And now the Avalanche has Forsberg to the line. Chelios stripped it away beautifully.
Best way to combat the speed in the neutral zone is to go right at them, especially if the wingers are covered. And Chelios did it perfectly there.
And the neutral zone, Foot. Bounced it ahead. Ricci taps it in. Now he and Weinrich battle to the corner. Keane in there as well. Weinrich able to win the puck, though. Got it to Craven, who cleared it to center ice. Amati circles with it there, and then his pass doesn't connect. Sliding the length, icing coming up against Chicago. 13 minutes remaining now in regulation time. It's 3-1 Avalanche. Back in a moment on the Hawks.
Ian Weinrich, who's had a very strong game. Eric Weinrich for the Blackhawks. He takes his man. Helmet's knocked off, and he and Ricci, and then Weinrich still, while being hounded by Ricci, had the presence of mind to make the play up the boards, and the Hawks were able to clear.
Well, if you're going to list the best Hawks players in this game, we're going to have a penalty now coming up against Colorado. As the forechecking James Black ruled to have been interfered with.
Interference, Foot. That's the type of play that was called irregularity last year. This year, they've been getting away with it, so the players, this is the same penalty that Brent Sutter got. He put the stick between the legs of Black, who's attempting to forecheck, and Foot goes to the box. Second penalty of the game for Foot. And this is it as far as the Hawks are concerned with 12 and a half to go. They're not going to get many more opportunities. This is their 5th of the game. They're 0 for 4 with the power play.
I'm just starting to say, though, that if you're going to list the best Hawk players in this game, I got to believe number 2 is going to be right up there.
He really has played outstanding. Jeff Shantz has had a real solid performance. He's out there at center now talking things over with Chris Chelios. He'll have Daze and Amante in his wings, and Suter and Chelios on the points. They need to get something going with the power play, or it's going to be a short series.
They draw in the Colorado zone. The Gusarov circles the net and clear. Here comes Chelios to Suter, whose pass is captured by Amani over the line. Fires! Wow, with the glove. Tony Amani got all of that. Had it ticketed from the far post, and Patrick Waugh again with a save that was more difficult than he made it look.
His positioning is so incredible. He's never out of position, it seems. He's never too far outside the crease. He's always inside the crease with the top of it, and you don't get a lot of room with him. He goes to the knees in that butterfly, but his body stays up. He's a pretty tall guy, and good reaction on that rising slap shot. And Waugh, who was hit in the chin in the first part of the period, doesn't seem to be affected whatsoever.
As the Avs get the draw and clear it back into the Chicago zone. Chelios trying to beat Amani, who lost the handle. Now Chelios has it back. Ahead for Suter. Leaves for Chelios. And the Hawks dump it in. To the far side, Savard. Put it in behind the Colorado goal. Now back to the line, held in by Chelios. Near point to Suter. Up the boards for Savard. And a Savard hanging on near side. Slipped it in front of Monty, and he whiffed on a one-timer. He snuck into the slot beautifully, and Savard put a pass right there. Monty unable to connect. 45 seconds left on the Chicago power play. Suter weaving over the line. Lost the handle in traffic, and it's cleared back the other way. Here's Weinrich. Going rink wide for Craven over the line, cutting and shooting. Wow, fought it off with a blocker. Rebound to the near side. Weinrich able to keep it in. And then a pass from Miller didn't connect with Probert, and it winds up all the way back in the Hawk zone. Here's Probert steaming in over the line near side. Left one for Weinrich. Fires! And that hits somebody in front, and we have a player hurt.
Murray Craven got it right in the head. Boy, that puck was on edge. Weinrich let it rip, and everybody right there right away.
Boy, you could see even the Colorado players immediately signaling for the Hawk trainer Mike Gaske to hurry up, get out there, and he did just that. As Murray Craven doing what he's supposed to, trying to create some traffic in front, but as you said, just as the shot was let go, the puck was up on edge. It's tough to control that.
Bob Probert waits, puts it back. Weinrich, and just as he let it go, it knuckled and hit Craven right in the face. He turned somewhat. That might have helped him, but he got it right in the right cheek area. Similar situation years ago with Doug Wilson's shot. Broke the face of Darryl Sutter with an up shot that hit a stick and rose. Well, that thing just curved right into him. It knuckled and curved. And he just turned at the last second to avoid probably worse damage. Would have hit him square in the face, but he got it in the right cheek as he turned.
Now they are calling for, is it the team? Yes, the Dr. Kolb is being called onto the ice here. And Murray Craven is still in the same position that he hit the deck in after that shot. Hit him right in the right side of the head, it appeared.
Boy, dropping like flies. Yandov hasn't played the 2 games. Brent Sutter's out. Injured in the second period. Craven was at a kind of an iffy back to begin with. Now down here with that wicked slap shot hitting him in the head or in the face. Let's hope he's all right.
And they continue to work on Murray Craven, who's moving a little bit now. And we'll update you when we come back. As Craven, in a very woozy fashion, labors back up to his feet, but he's in some difficulty. It's 3-1 Colorado. Back in a moment.
Murray Craven being helped off to the Hawk locker room. It didn't appear to be cut badly, but that could be worse because he got it on the right side of the face, eye, and mouth, it seemed. And he was really in a lot of pain and very woozy going to the Hawk locker room. Well, earlier in the period, he hit Patrick Roy right in the chin with a slap shot. And Eric Weinrich's knuckling slap shot hit him right in the face while going to the front of the net.
And now the puck's back in play as the Avalanche move into the Hawk zone. Jones puts it in behind the goal. Weinrich bumping there with Lemieux, then Shan's in to help out. Hit it to the far side, and Krasov unable to hang on to it. Now Lemieux in over the Hawk line. Stick handling, then shooting, and Hackett makes the glove save. We're now halfway through the third period. It is 3-1. Colorado attempting to take a 2-0 lead in the series. Forget Game 3 is in the United Center on Sunday afternoon. 1 o'clock start for that one. We'll have pregame shows. The pregame show on MVP at 12:30 before the Hawks and the Avalanche embark on Game 3. Plenty of good seats available at the UC box office and Ticketmaster outlets. Game 4 will be Tuesday night at the normal 7:30 start time.
And Edmonton is taking a commanding lead over Dallas in Game 2 to even that series. They're up 4-0. Detroit beat St. Louis with 2 third-period goals, 2-1 to even that series. And here it's 3-1 Colorado with 9:42 to go in the third period. Anaheim and Phoenix should be just getting underway.
The draw in the Chicago zone. DeChelios for Cummins. Cummins put it across to Bob Probert, who slides it into the Colorado end. Eric Lacroix put it to the far side. Chelios there to keep it in. Tees it up and shoots. Tip. Oh, and another save by Waugh. This time on a redirected shot. And then Ozolinsh and Cummins have a bit of a shoving match as the whistle sounded.
Chelios pinches in along the far boards, picks it up, shoots it, and it's redirected in front. Cummins is there. And Cummins, a nice job of fighting off the defender and still able to get the stick on it, redirects it. But another good reaction by Patrick Waugh. He's so cool, so collected in the net.
Face-off will be to the left. The Colorado goal. Now Savard is in between Cummins and Probert. Now everybody ready, and here's the draw to the Avalanche. John Clem moves to the near side, got tied up in some traffic. Ozolinsh put it up the boards, and it deflects to Sakic. Joe Sakic to the Hawk line, weaves and tried to center, but the pass was behind Ozolinsh, then came in front to Clem, a drive tip, and it deflected into the corner. In behind the net to Sakic. His centering attempt is picked off, and Carney moves the Hawks slowly back to center ice and chipped it to the Colorado line. Here's Kevin Miller stealing one, trying to center, and Clem broke up that attempt. And it's cleared to the neutral zone. Ozolinsh got it to Kaminsky over the line. Kaminsky lost it in traffic, then carried on by Forsberg. Fires, and a save by Hackett. Rebound to the near side. Daze couldn't get it out. Denmark centered one. A little too hot to handle for Forsberg. And Amati got it to Suter, dumping it in. Over to the far side, and Waugh tried to clear. I think it deflected out of play, and yes, that is what happened.
The Hawks had 5 power plays in the first game, but took 12 power plays against them. They cannot fault the officiating in this game. They have had 5 power plays to Colorado's 2. And I think this official, Dvorsky, has called a whale of a game considering what the circumstances were after Game 1. He set the tone early, he's let them play, and both teams have played well within the rules as well. And he's made the right calls.
Now the draw. Mike Keane on right wing, who tipped it back to the Chicago zone. 8 minutes remaining now in the third period. It's 3-1 in favor of the Avalanche. As Yell steals from Chance, but his pass was out of the reach of Ricci. Back of the goal, it's cleared to Morrow on the near side. Got help from Suter, who rolled it to the Avalanche line. Chance, bumped by Lefebvre, now battles it loose in behind. Taken by Krivo, who works to the near side and left it in the corner for Chance. Jeff Chance got knocked down by Lefebvre. Now dug loose by Morrow, out to the line, and Suter was unable to keep it in. Now the Avs clear it into the Chicago zone. Eric Weinrich is on it. Left it for Sikora. Down to the near side. It's held in the Hawk zone. Weinrich tipped it to the near corner. Sakic jammed it loose to Lemieux. Walks in behind the goal. Lemieux bothered by Savard. Puck came loose to Black. He couldn't get it out. Ozelin fires a long shot that doesn't get through. Then cleared ahead. The race is on. Black might have a break. Steaming over the line. Pulled down. And play allowed to continue. And here's Lemieux, but he received a two-line pass. And the whistle sounds.
I don't understand why there was no call there. James Black had a partial break. And he was hooked down, and it cost him getting a quality chance. Hooked to the ice. Well, I think maybe the discrepancy 5-2 in favor of the Hawks. Ozelin took him down. James Black with the only goal, the only Blackhawk goal, his second career playoff goal in 9 career games. Played very well, Black, after sitting out the last game and not playing a lot of hockey in the last 3-4 weeks of the season.
Been no scoring since the 7.5-minute mark of the second period when Claude Lemieux extended the Colorado lead to 3-1. Ozelin and Keane have the other Avalanche goals. Those two came in the first 5 minutes of play. Well, the Hawks were down a pair very early, but battled hard throughout this game and have managed to at least hang in there a little bit with a decimated lineup against the championship team that is healthy. And the Hawks are really up against it now, Dale, against a club that had the longest losing streak of the year was 2. The longest unbeaten, or the longest winless streak for Colorado this year was 3. That happened twice, and one of them was 3 straight ties. So this is a club that's had a magnificent season and a record-setting 107 points, the most this franchise has ever had to lead the National Hockey League during regular season play.
Still no with a chance. 6:21. They just the next goal, as we said, is a big one. They can get one here in the next couple of minutes. It'll be a great finish. It's been a great game. Hawks have really played superbly in this one.
Much more like the playoff hockey you would have expected coming into the series. Now in the Hawk zone, Chelios hoisting one to center. It's ruled to be a two-line pass. Daze let it go. He knew he was offside. He was hoping his teammate was not, but the linesman saw it differently.
I thought Miller was onside. I think the puck preceded him across the red line as Chelios tried to flip it up. It might have hit the skate of Daze. I think that's what McCourt's saying, that it hit the heel of the skate of Daze, who tried to avoid the puck. He was well over the line. This is the 8th playoff game these two teams have been involved in. 6 last year and 2 this year. The Hawks have scored 15 goals.
Face off to the right and Jeff Hackett. Here's the draw to the Avalanche. Gooster up a long shot. Hackett, good save through traffic. Rebound cleared to the near side. Back into the center ice area it goes. Now taken by Sikora. Daze on left wing. His pass picked off. Forsberg rolled it to Deadmarsh on right wing. Moves in. Shoots. Hackett shut the doors. Deadmarsh tried to go 5-hole with a low drive. Rebound back to center, and now here's Kaminsky over the Hawk line. Amani took it off his stick, but the Hawks were unable to get it out. Now the near corner, Forsberg, as Hackett got tangled behind the net. Kaminsky was on the deck for a moment. The Hawks recover the puck, and here's Krivo racing in on Lefebvre to the near circle. Lefebvre prevented a shot with a nice poke check. And over to the far side it goes. Now back of the Colorado net. Forsberg got it to Ricci. He cleared it ahead, and Mike Keane dumps it in. 5 minutes left now in regulation time. 3-1 in favor of the Avalanche. Kucherov flipping it ahead. Ricci couldn't catch up with it. Chance does. Gave it to Carney. Heath Carney ahead for Jim Cummins. He was stopped at center. bouncing around to Savard, rolled it ahead, Cummins over the line, moves in, fires, wow, with a blocker save, rebound, Suter a shot, and deflected up high. To the far side, it's held into Cummins. Far corner to Probert. Gave it back to Cummins, whose shot hit a leg, deflecting wide. And Adam Foote comes away for Colorado. Clearing it ahead, Jones got hooked off the puck by Suter. And Chelios gathers it in. Chris Chelios for Cummins. The center, he was stopped there. Now here's Sakic over the line to Jones, the backhander, and he just missed the net. Rebound to the far corner. And Weinrich jammed it loose to Cummins. He hoists it ahead. Savard chasing it down over the line, shooting. Wow, made another strong save for Colorado. Boy, the Hawks have had a bucket full of chances here in this third, and Patrick Waugh is keeping them from getting closer in the game.
That's the frustrating part of playing well and having to come from behind.
Now Kevin Miller over the line. He tries to cut in. A diving poke check by Adam Foote. Stop that from happening.
He has had an outstanding game, Foote.
And now down to 3 minutes remaining in the third. Here's Forsberg in over the line. Stick handling on Sikora. He hit the deck. Play continues. As it's taken by Suter. Barry Suter bothered by Corbet. Now Sikora picks it up. And bounce one back to center. Now Gary Suter. And his pass picked off. Ricci cleared it ahead just out of the reach of Keane. Deep into Chicago ice it goes. Down the near corner, Mike Keane battling hard, came up with it. Keane trying to shoot, and a save by Hackett. They'll hold on to it. Hawks have just 2.5 minutes left. They've got to get 2 more goals, trailing 3-1 on the Hawk Network.
You can't get the puck past Patrick Waugh. Jim Cummins with a blast. Gary Suter let one rip high and wide, and then Dennis Savard, the bouncing puck, gets his good friend and former teammate trying to go over the shoulder, and they've tried every possible angle. Low, high, face, shoulder, glove, you name it, and he's been able to come up and make the big saves, stopping all 9 Blackhawks shots in the period, and all of them have been good ones.
Face off now to the left to Hackett. Here's the draw. Taken by Carney. Able to clear it back into the Colorado zone. Adam Foote chasing it down. Fires it off the glass. Chelios not quite able to keep this one in. And back into his own end is Carney. 2 minutes remaining in the third. 3-1 Colorado as Chelios cleared it ahead. There goes Hackett. 6 attackers on for Chicago now, needing 2 goals to have a chance. Keane cleared it to Ricci. Going to try for the empty net. Chelios made the block. Hawks goal to our right is empty. 6 skaters on for Chicago. Here comes Kevin Miller into the offensive zone. Offside was Daze. And a good call made by Danny McCourt.
Right on. He was right on the money. That was a close one, but he was right there. Now a 2-goal lead for Patrick Waugh. Will he try and match Brodeur's feat of last night, scoring a goal? Only the second goalie in history of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs to score a goal. Ron Hextall the other. As New Jersey beat Montreal and Brodeur scored. An empty net while having a 4-2 lead, and the Devils won 5-2. Well, Patrick Waugh, who's much improved in that department. He's not a good puck handler. That was one of his weak links, but now he's much better at that and more confident in that regard.
Boy, how dominant have goaltenders been around the NHL, scoring down by quite a margin during regular season play. And how about the opening games of all these series? The first 8 games played over the opening 2 nights of Stanley Cup playoff hockey. 8 games played, 3 were shutouts. And now the goalies are even scoring goals. So
they should not be allowed to score if they're standing in their own crease. That'll be the next.
There you go.
It'll be outside the crease for them to count.
All right, an important face-off now outside the Colorado line as Hackett remains on the bench. And Chicago coming out with Savard, Daze, Miller, Amati, Suter, and Chalio. So Savard's going to go against Denmark for this draw in the neutral area. And here's a draw to Clem. He bounced one ahead. Suter picked it up along the boards and got wrapped up there in the whistle sound. Now the face-off right at center ice. With a minute and a half remaining. Here's the draw. The Avs get another one on the far side. Lefebvre bounced it ahead. Savard able to pick it up and chip it into the Colorado zone. Kevin Miller to the near corner. Tied up by Clem, who knocked him down along the boards. Now Amati in there as well. Poked it loose. They hack away in the near circle. The Avs pick it up. Forsberg going to try for an empty netter from deep in his own end. He misses it. It's going to be an icing call with 62 seconds to go.
Normally you wouldn't want your player to even attempt that. But with a 2-goal lead, you're more apt to allow it. And Forsberg goes to the bench. Didn't have many options. He was in the middle of the ice, or close to the front of his own net. Didn't have too many options around the boards. It was jammed up and went up the middle, which was open, but missed the open net. The Hawks with a face-off. Hawks doing a good job on face-offs. They had an edge in the first period, tied in face-offs in the second period. And now it boils down to a quick win and a quick shot with 1 minute 2 seconds left. Trailing 3-1. Goals by Keane, Ozelinch, and Lemieux for Colorado. James Black has the lone Blackhawk goal.
Face-off will be to the right of Waugh. Now the draw. The Avs won another one. Denmark has gotten 3 in a row here in the late going. Here's Kucherov. He's going to try for an empty netter, and he shot it wide. And that'll take a couple more seconds off the clock, which now shows 51 ticks remaining.
I don't think Mark Crawford's too happy about that. 2 in a row now they've tried to score from their own end. Maybe Forsberg, he might put up with that one, but that second attempt by Kucherov drew quite a frown from Mark Crawford. The face-off move from the near side to the far side, and it's like Sakic, who's a left-hand shot, will come in and try and win it on the back end of the corner. Denmark was a right-handed shot and won it back to the corner on this near side.
Sakic and Chance ready, and the draw bouncing toward the slot. Waugh sticked it away, and it's cleared back to the Hawk line. Suter into the Colorado zone, squeezes through, check, shoots, Waugh, the save, rebound, Amati, his shot, and a save by Waugh. And the Avs pick it up, clear it to the near side. Suter took a hit to keep it in. Now foot jammed and loose, not out, to the far side, Amati with a shot, up off the glass. Came to the near side and up over the stick of Suter, back the other way, and we're down to 15 seconds left in game 2. And the crowd now rising to their feet here in Denver. As the Avs flip one back into the Hawk zone, and this one is all over. The 88th postseason victory for Patrick Waugh, tying him with Billy Smith for the all-time record. And Colorado grabs the first 2 games of this series. And the Hawks now will have to hold serve in games 3 and 4 in the United Center Sunday afternoon and Tuesday night. No scoring in the third period. Shots on goal. The Blackhawks had 11. The Avalanche had 12. Your game totals 33 Colorado shots, 25 Chicago shots. Blackhawks can at least hold their heads a little bit higher after this game 2 loss. They played in much more intelligent fashion. They played in gritty fashion. They're dealing from a short deck.
Well, the injuries, not having Jamnoff, really hurt them, especially in the power play. They played a much better game. They played with a lot of intensity. Played for, even though they trailed 2-0 early in the game, would have been easy for them down. Oh, here we go again. Colorado had a couple of key chances to add to that 2-0 lead. They did, and the Hawks scored late in the first, and then had as many chances or more chances, especially in the third. Thought the Hawks really put a lot of pressure on them, but Patrick Waugh shut the door, stopping 11 Blackhawks shots, and a lot of them were excellent ones. He stopped them every way, and that with the headgear, the low shots, the high shots, and with the goalie out of the net, he was able to make a couple of good saves in traffic to keep it a 3-1 victory for a good Colorado team, more than good, a great hockey team. The Hawks played poorly in game one. I thought they played very well tonight, considering the fact Jamnoff and then Sutter and then Craven went down as well. You got to give them marks. They really showed up and played hard.
Your final score tonight, Colorado leads the series 2-0 by virtue of a 3-1 victory tonight.
So as it turns out, the difference in the game, that 1 minute, 7 second span of the first period when the Blackhawks looked like they were back in game one, and that was really the only bad stretch of the game they had, and it cost them the victory.
Yeah, Jim, they got off to a slow start tonight. They were ready to play the game, but they were a little bit back on their heels. They gave Colorado a lot of ice, again, through the neutral zone, let them come into their zone. They had a couple scoring chances. They did score a couple goals. After that point in time, the Hawks played every step of the way with them.
Yeah, and exactly coming back to Chicago now, the Blackhawks have to concentrate on Game 3. They showed in the final 55 minutes of the game that they can play with Colorado. They just have to figure out how to score some goals. Our Southwest Airlines save of the game tonight turned in by Jeff Hackett. Rene Corbet cutting in toward the net. Hackett will make the stop. Eric Lacroix comes up with the rebound, but Hackett stops that as well. That is our Southwest Airlines saves of the game, I guess we can call them. And our Bud Ice player of the game, we'll go with Jeff Shantz. And boy, with all the injuries at center, how important of a guy is Jeff Shantz going to be on Sunday in Game 3 at the United Center? As for our Southwest Airlines partner player contest, Stephanie Maxwell and Mickey Maslick didn't come up with the Eric Daze goal they needed to win the prize of round-trip tickets to anywhere Southwest Airlines flies, but we want to thank Stephanie and Mickey for playing. And we're coming up with a Sports Channel report right after this timeout. The Avalanche win Game 2 over the Blackhawks, 3-1, taking a 2-0 series lead. Stick around. The Sports Channel report is coming up next. Game 2 of their Western Conference quarterfinal series against the Colorado Avalanche. A lot of subplots in this game. Patrick Waugh looking for a victory that would give him 88, tying him for the all-time mark for playoff victories. Also working on a shutout string that extended back to Game 3 of the finals last year. But for the Blackhawks, they were trying to erase the bitter memories of Game 1 that they lost on Wednesday night in Colorado by a 6-0 count to the defending champs. Early on, it looked like a carbon copy of Game 1. Sergei Krivokrasov gives the puck up. Mike Keane gives it to Peter Forsberg. Chris Chelios knocks him off the puck. It comes right back to Keane. 1-0 Avs. Keane just happened to have the opening goal of the game in Game 1 also. Then Joe Sakic up the left side. Cuts along the blue line. Touch pass to the trailing Sandis Ozolinsh. And he scores to make it 2-0 in favor of the Avalanche. But the Blackhawks, unlike Game 1, would come back in this one. Gary Suter goes to the corner, one-handed pass out in front. Jeff Shantz takes it in behind the net and just shovels it out to James Black, who beats Patrick Waugh. 2-1. The Blackhawks were trailing in the game for Patrick Waugh, the first goal he had given up in 231 minutes of playoff hockey. But after that, Patrick Waugh got tough, making the stop on Tony Amani and kicking the shot aside. Keith Carney's one-timer deflected right on the money, but Waugh's able to stop that as well. Final minute of play. Blackhawks putting on the heat. Patrick Waugh making the save. He was down, but his defensemen, as they did all night long, right there to cover the rebounds and clear them out of harm's way. The Blackhawks certainly played much better in this game, but the end result is the same. They lose by a final count of 3-1 to the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche now lead the series 2-0. We now welcome in our Blackhawks analyst, Murray Bannerman. Murray, players and coaches in the NHL will almost never talk about moral victories, but you would have to think the Blackhawks are coming out of this game tonight, even though they're down 2-0 in the series, saying, all right, we did one thing tonight. We proved we can play with these guys.
Yeah, and they did that. They proved that they can play with Colorado if they want to work hard and do all the little things that we talked about before the game, forechecking, taking a neutral zone. We talk about all those things. They did those better, and they proved they could play with them. Moral victory, I don't know about that, because at this time of year, you're there to win. They didn't win, so the bottom line is they're still down 2-0 in the series.
The Blackhawks not only lost the game, they lost Brent Sutter when he re-injured his knee. They lost Murray Craven, who took a puck in the jaw. Alexei Zhamnov is still out. They ended the game, Murray, with just 2 healthy centers, Jeff Shantz and Dennis Savard. What do they do now?
They've got to hope that Zhamnov is ready to come back. He's had some extra rest by not playing the last few games. With the injury that he has, a couple of days should help him a lot. And I think that right now, unless he's just can't put any weight on that ankle at all, he's really got to get back in the lineup. They miss him out there, now even more so because they're down in the centerman. Zhamnov's got to get back on the ice for them.
And the bright spot for the Blackhawks tonight, one of their centermen, Jeff Shantz, played very, very well in the game tonight. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, we'll remember games 3 and 4 coming up Sunday and Tuesday at the United Center. Jim Blaney back with Murray Bannerman, and the Blackhawks are coming back to Chicago down 0-2 in this series. But really, if you look at it, Murray, the Colorado Avalanche, they accomplished tonight what they had to do in these opening 2 games. That was defend home ice and win 2 games. If they would have lost this game, they would have looked at it as not being successful. But they're the Stanley Cup champs, and they played very, very well in both games.
They did play very well, and in the third period, the Hawks actually outplayed them, had the better scoring chances. But behind the great forwards and defense they have a great goaltender, and the Hawks just couldn't find a way to get the puck past them. And that was when they could get the puck past the defense. The defense blocked a good half a dozen shots tonight also.
What makes Patrick Roy the best goaltender in the NHL?
His size definitely helps. He's such a big guy, and he's so well positioned that there isn't a lot of room. You notice he made a lot of saves tonight that they looked fairly easy. They weren't easy saves. He was just in such great position, and he's such a big guy that he didn't have to move that much.
On positioning, explain a little bit about that. How a goaltender knows where, without getting out in front of the set and showing us, but how does a goaltender know where the positions are? Is that all things you have to learn through drill after drill after drill, or is it just things you pick up over time in the NHL, knowing what shooters are going to do, their tendencies, or seeing the way the play develops in front of you?
Well, you learn the position as a young kid, and the experience as you go along teaches you, where you need to be in certain situations. And pretty simply put, you have to move out of your net to cut down how much of the net the shooter can see, and you have to keep your body square to the puck. You notice Patrick goes down to his knees a lot, and his upper body and his shoulders are square to the puck, so the shooter doesn't have a lot that he can see of the net.
One other thing that I noticed in the game tonight, I'm sure a lot of the fans did too, was the way the puck came off the end glass behind the nets in McNichols Arena. It really came off of there hot and bounced out in front of the nets many times. How maddening is that for a goaltender? The puck goes whizzing over your head, and you have to be looking for it right away coming back on the rebound off the glass. That's
real difficult, and it was 2 or 3 times that Hackett had a little problem in the first period. Patrick didn't seem to have as much problem with it. Obviously, this is his home rink, and he knows the bounces a little bit better. But there was a couple of times where that puck came off the backboards or the glass just as fast as it went in, and that presents a real problem because as a goaltender, you turn around, puck comes shooting back out by you, and now your back's to the play and the puck's in front of the net. And that's something that Hackett's going to have to be a little more aware of when they go back there.
Now, I know that when you played in that arena, there was different glass. They didn't have the one-piece glass. But when you were playing, were there any arenas in particular where that was a problem?
Not really. The boards in Montreal were fairly lively, and Minnesota had lively boards. But they were all different, and every place presented its own problem, whether it was lively boards or maybe uneven boards where the puck would take funny bounces and come back out in front of the net. That type of stuff. So they were all a little different.
We talked on the pregame show about the Blackhawks not turning the puck over in the neutral zone. That wasn't so much of a problem after about the first 5 minutes of the game. But there was another problem in the neutral zone for the Blackhawks tonight, and that was giving up the neutral zone to the Colorado Avalanche, and that led to some good Avalanche opportunities.
Yes, it did. And a team with Colorado's speed, you can't let them get going full speed through the neutral ice zone. And the Hawks did that. Here's the situation. 3 Hawks back. They just kept backing in, instead of challenging them through the neutral zone and making them do something. And this led to a good chance by Deadmarsh, although he missed the net. On the goal, Sakic, again, they back in and let him come through the neutral zone, and now you let him set up in your zone, and that's where he's dangerous. He's going to find the open guy. Sakic again, quick pass through the neutral zone. This is a nice bit of passing. Kamensky to Lemieux here, finds Forsberg. Fortunately, a couple of those chances, they missed the net. Now this is what they should have been doing. You notice if the Hawks guy forces the guy, make him turn back, make him slow down. See, they've got no speed, no flow coming through the neutral zone. That's what the Hawks did as the game went on. That's why they were a little more successful. They did a good job of working hard in the other team's end. Here you'll see the goal, all set up by Suter, hard work, getting it in there, getting it in the zone and making a good play. They had some good forechecking. They couldn't find the net, but the effort was there on the forecheck. Here we see Probert go hard. Craven makes a great pass, doesn't get through, and that was the problem. This is a little something I wanted to show you. Not to pick on any one individual. You watch a defenseman here in front of the net. His responsibility is to pick up the man. You see how he's got his face, or he's facing the puck, and his back is to the front of the net. What he should have done is turned his body so that he's on more of an angle. That way his head can kind of be on a swivel. He can watch the puck. He can pick up the man in front of the net. He just got, you know, he was guilty of watching the play, watching the puck a little bit, I should say. And it wasn't a big thing. It was one play. It led to a goal, obviously, and it didn't happen a lot. But for you guys out there, your kids playing, when you're in front of that net, you got to be turned so that you can go both ways. You got to watch that man in front of the net. The guy without the puck is the dangerous guy. He's the guy that scored the goal.
So in other words, if you're Claude Lemieux on that play, and Michael Sikora was facing this way, correct?
Right.
When you're saying Murray, he should be more turned this way straight out so we can see more of the ice?
Right. You want to be able to see, just by turning your head, you want to be able to see in front of the net. And when you've got your back to the front of the net, you can't see anything that's going on there. You still have to obviously be able to watch the puck and see what's going on there. That's why you get on an angle where you're this way, so you're just turning your head here to be able to pick up the play.
Could have been a record-setting night for Patrick Waugh. It turns into a record-tying night. The victory tonight by the Avalanche and Patrick Waugh gives Waugh 88 postseason wins. That ties the all-time NHL record with Billy Smith, who, of course, not only, and this is something people forget about Billy Smith. We all know the Islanders won 4 cups in a row, but the Islanders also went to 5 finals in a row. And that's a good way to pile up some wins in a hurry when you're getting to the finals year in and year out. And we put the one at the bottom to point out that, Murray, you got to be pretty darn good. Not just to win 20 games in the playoffs in the NHL, but just even to play in 20 playoff games in the NHL. You have 500% in the playoffs. That's not too bad.
Yeah, and I was fortunate. I played for some really good Hawk teams. The teams that we had back in the mid-'80s, I think, were as good as almost any team. The problem is the Edmonton Oilers were just a little bit better, and we had a real problem getting by them. And we had a team that scored a lot of goals, so I got my 20 wins because even on an off night, my guys were picking up the slack and scoring 6, 7 goals. So we had a really potent offensive team back in the mid-'80s.
So the Avalanche take a 2-0 series lead by winning the game 3-1 tonight. After the game, Claude Lemieux pointed out that the Avalanche did what they were supposed to do, won their 2 games at home.
We've got off to a good start. It's only 2 games, but I like the way we've played, and we just got to keep it up.
Did your eyes really light up inside Jones?
It was great play, and when I saw Jonesy go behind the net, I thought if I get open, he's going to throw it back out front, and there's just no one out near me, so I was very fortunate and made a good play.
After they finally scored, Claude, did you sense a momentum shift to them? Did they stay a little quicker then?
Well, they played hard all night, and we had a 2-goal lead and could have really hurt them, and we had some good chances. Their goaltender made a few good saves and kept them in the game. Then they got back in it, and but I thought we played well, and we killed some penalties, and they had some opportunities on the power play, and we did a really good job. And all around, I thought we played a solid game.
Are you all surprised at how quickly this team has turned it on for the playoffs after playing 500 hockey the last 20 games?
Not at all. I didn't have any doubts that we're going to play well, and people don't realize that, once you've been to playoffs, once you've won the cup, there's nothing like it, and there's nothing like playoff hockey. There's not one regular season game that can compare to any of these games we've been playing out here. So it's always a little bit difficult, and we felt good about our season. Overall, it was a good season. We managed to finish first, and most times teams that win the cup have a really tough regular season, pick it up for the following playoffs, and we stayed on top, and I felt good about coming in this playoffs.
What do you think the biggest challenge is going into Chicago?
Well, you know, they're going to compete, and we said this from day one. They're they play with a lot of pride. They have a lot of veteran players. They have a lot of grit and character, and they're going to play hard. So we just have to stick to our game plan and do the things that we've done well. And we've used everybody and really kept our shift shorts and gave everyone a chance to play and to create a good momentum. Got to do the same thing in Chicago.
And Claude Lemieux knows whereof he speaks. He's looking for his third straight Stanley Cup ring and his fourth ring overall. He also won one in '86 with the Montreal Canadiens. And Murray, for the Blackhawks, even though they're down 2-0 in the series, it seems to me that there's more reason for optimism now that they're down 2-0 in the series than what it seemed like on Wednesday night after they were blown out 6-0 in Game 1.
Yeah, they have to be confident that they can play with Colorado. And getting back to Game 1, you know, a lot of what happened was frustration, and some of it being, hey, if we're going to get blown out in the game, we're going to make these guys pay for it. So let's not dwell on that too much. I mean, they got blown out early, and then they thought that this is the best way to handle it. Tonight was a close game, and they battled and competed the whole game. And as I said, I felt in the third period they outplayed Colorado and had the much better scoring chances.
And don't forget, they've got to circle their wagons as well with all the injuries to their centers. Brent Sutter's knee, Murray Craven took a puck to the jaw, and Alex Jamnov, we'll have to see if he comes back on Sunday. All right, let's move around to the other action tonight around the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs. All the Western Conference playoff series played their second games tonight. Let's start out by looking in on St. Louis and Detroit. The St. Louis Blues hadn't given up a goal to Scotty Bowman's team in 104 minutes. We'll check on how Detroit scored in a minute. Here's how St. Louis got on the board first. Mark Bergevin comes in, goes to the backhand, beats Mike Vernon. That was 4:24 into the game. St. Louis had the lead 1-0. No scoring in the second. In the third, shorthanded. Here comes Chris Draper, goes around Igor Kravchuk, shoots and scores. Game tied up at 1-1. 3 minutes after that, Red Wings looking for the go-ahead goal. They get it from Larry Murphy. Pinching in on defense, right in front of the net, pops it in past Grant Fuhrer, and the St. Louis Blues go down to the Red Wings. The final score in that game tonight was 2-1, so that series is all tied up at 1-1. Detroit was really looking in bad shape until that third period.
Yeah, they came on in the third, and you got to be realistic. For St. Louis to go in there and win 2 games was an awful tough task. And even in the second game, Detroit was outplaying him. Fuhrer was standing on his head again. They finally found a way to get a couple of pucks past him. Vernon had a good enough game that, you know, they won the game. That's going to be a tough series. I don't envision that being a short series. It's going to be a tough, hard-fought series for both teams, and whichever team that wins that's going to come out of there a little bit bumped and bruised up, I think.
The goals have been very hard to come by in that series. Game 2 between Dallas and Edmonton played tonight at Reunion Arena. 4-0 the final score as Cujo gets the shutout. Edmonton beats Dallas, tying up the series at 1-1, but maybe a key injury for Edmonton in the game. Brian Marchment, their defenseman, the former Blackhawk, left the game on a stretcher. So that will be something that everybody will be keeping an eye on in that series. So they go back to Edmonton, getting ready for Game 3 with that series knotted up at 1 apiece. One game is still going. It's in Anaheim, tied up 1-1 in the first intermission. Teppo Newman with the goal for the Phoenix Coyotes to get them on the board early, but Anaheim has come back with a score and has tied it up at 1-1. Anaheim owns a 1-0 lead in that series. So we now look ahead to Game 3 on Sunday between the Blackhawks and the Colorado Avalanche. The Blackhawks have had problems in their own building so far this year, but let's face it, it's the playoffs. That doesn't matter. It's time for the Blackhawks to get going in their own building.
It's time for them to get going. It's time for them to start to find the net. They have to start to generate some offense. I'm beginning to sound like a broken record here. I'm sure I've been talking about this all year. But they're not going to have a chance to beat this team if they can't find a way to get the puck in the net and start getting some more offense.
So you put your head down and you shoot, right?
There you go.
Don't pick a spot against Patrick Waugh because he's awfully tough to beat. Murray, we'll see you again on Sunday. Murray will be here, by the way, for the post-game coverage after the Blackhawks and Avalanche play on Fox. Tune over to Sports Channel for our Blackhawks postgame on Sunday. Still to come on tonight's edition of The Report. For 3-1, the Blackhawks played much better tonight than they did in Game 1. That's a sentiment that Avalanche coach Mark Crawford agreed with wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I thought they played very hard tonight. I thought, you know, they were a little bit better on their forecheck, and obviously they made a lot closer game tonight. Our team did a real good job in some certain areas. We didn't give up a lot of outnumbering chances in the first or second period. We got a little bit away from it in the third period, but they were really coming all the time. and thought obviously our penalty killing was real good tonight, killing off all the penalties that we got against us, and our goaltender was real sharp, especially late in the game when he got the bulk of the chances against him.